KGRA Digital Broadcasting and Pop Culture Minefield presents Dangerous Military Nerds. Dangerous Military Nerds. They're just like regular nerds, only dangerous. And now, your hosts, Don Ecker and Gary Cassell.
Oh, hey, how's everybody doing? It's Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. But then again, for me, every day's hump day. Everybody in the chat, hello. I want to welcome you to another episode of Dangerous Military Nerds. We are in the morning now. This is our morning coffee show. And I wanted to make sure before I introduce the new co-host for the show that I give you your proper warnings. Here you go.
Warning. The following program involves discussions between military veterans. As such, it is almost guaranteed that there will be coarse language and crude subject matter. So if the words piss, fuck, cock, cunt, and shit offend you, or if openly discussing that one time you were butt-fucking your ex-girlfriend and her miniature pincher jumped up on the bed and started licking your asshole until you had the best orgasm of your life makes you uncomfortable, this might not be the place for you. Otherwise, enjoy.
Good fucking morning, everybody. Hello.
Everybody, I want you to meet Adam. I've been friends with Adam for a while. I've been trying to figure out how to fit him into what we do. He was one of them I was hoping would be able to join us because, one, he's a fellow Ozarkian. He lives in the Ozarks. He's a Missouri boy. And he's pure blood American. Also, he's a fucking grunt. And you know you've won me over when I hear that you served as a grunt.
Yeah.
So welcome to the team, man. You are my official co-host of Dangerous Military Nerds. And you can put that on there, by the way. It says Adam, and then you put co-host Dangerous. DMN, just put DMN. Delta Mike November.
I will make that appropriate change, and then I will beat my face appropriately for fucking getting things wrong. My apologies. But hello, everybody. I am happy as hell and honored as fuck to be here.
Now, we're not going out live today. I don't know what happened. I think it may have been, I think we were told that Chanel was going on vacation. And I think that's what's going on today. That's why we're not on KGRA. We have to have a producer to be on KGRA. And if the producer's not available, they play a rerun on KGRA. And while you guys get to actually see us live. So co-host DMN. There we go. And I'm saving. Look at your name now.
Oh, I was just about to do that, and you beat me to the punch. All right.
That's because you're slow. That's why I picked you. You're slow.
I was never having any intention ever in the world of working with computers when I was in the fucking army. So it just so happens that eventually you got to when you stay in long enough, and that's what ended up happening the last part of my career. So,
well, many of us, had them in the Connex, our own personal computers, and that's how a lot of the gaming happens on the fobs.
Yeah, this is true. Surprisingly enough, though, actually, this actually blanked out for me for a second. So I did surveillance and reconnaissance work, and when we were doing surveillance work, I actually got issued a tough book. And so when we would be in a hide site or surveillance site, whichever position I'm in, we would transfer images and video via the tough book. So and the tactical satellite radio. So I did actually have a computer, although I was in a fucking a ranger grave while I was doing it.
Yeah. And by the way, you'll notice that just like with me, he has free-flowing F words. He does have bombs just like me. It's so funny because like before I went in the army, I hardly cussed at all, man. I hardly cussed at all. After AIT, man, I had a guy in my platoon tell me he had never seen a string of F words used in a sentence like I could do. And I'm like, really? He goes, I don't think there was any other words in there other than and.
Yeah.
You.
I think one of the first phrases that I remember when I got to my unit, because of course everyone I think usually knows is that, you know, depending on the type of unit you go into, basic training AIT can seem kind of mild, and you think, oh, the Army's not actually that tough. Depend also on the time period you went in. I went in the Army in 2000. I was kind of disappointed. I was thinking, man, I should have gone in the Marines. This is kind of lame. And then I got to my unit, the 173rd Airborne, and I remember being called fuckface was like the very first thing I remember hearing when I walked in. Like, oh shit, they can cuss here, and oh shit, these guys are actually really mean.
Yeah, it's so funny because like Mac, the guy who did the voiceover at the beginning there for the warning, he's one of my buddies, Army vet, and his nickname for me was Fuckface. He would call me Fuckface, and so my daughter one day heard him call me that. She goes, and I said, because I made the mistake of responding to him when he yelled it at me.
Yeah.
And it stuck. And that's what happens to you in the Army. Somebody calls you something and it sticks. And
yep, I'm pretty sure my first 2 weeks I thought my name was Fuckface.
Yeah, Fuckface. I know that I wasn't I told you that Sergeant stood behind me yelling at me in chow when I was waiting to put my tray away. And he just stood right behind me yelling, "Donut!" And I'm like, I am not fucking answering to that. I am not responding to it. No fucking way am I taking that as a nickname. Not going to happen. And I loved it. My senior NCO yelled at him and says, "You may as well stop fucking with him. He ain't going to react to you." Because if you don't call me by my last name or my rank or soldier, I'm not turning. I won't turn. Yep. And it was a rule. I taught everybody that rule that was in my squad. Those are the only 3 things that you can get called legally. That's all they can call you, because whatever his name is on the left side of your uniform, or soldier, or your rank. That's anything else, they're just fucking with you. Don't respond.
Yep. Yeah, I something similar happened to me. I got picked to, like, the very first day when I was in AIT. Very first day, I got like, actually I volunteered to sing cadences. We were marching from one location to another.
Really good.
I spent 4 years at junior RTC. I memorized.
Oh, you don't admit to that though.
I did not admit to it in AIT. I learned that lesson because I did in basic training, and that was a fuck up. But at least I did volunteer at least.
Dude.
Yeah, I volunteered at least to sing cadence when we first had a march in AIT, and the drill sergeant immediately said something. I can't remember what the insult was, but he said, "I'm going to call you this. How do you feel about that?" I said, "Roger, drill sergeant," and I immediately yelled, "Right, peace, forward, march," and I started belting out this cadence, and he never fucking called me a name again. Like, oh, this kid is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's really funny. I never was I wasn't a ROTC, okay, and but I went in, and drill instructor one time, because we became friends. My senior drill instructor. We'd hang out after hours, and he says, because I'm older. I was older than my drill instructor. I was almost 30 when I joined. And I had my shit together, and I just wasn't freaked out by anything. And he said that. He says, "None of this messes with you at all." I said, "You guys are nothing compared to my dad. My dad was a living, human, breathing drill instructor my entire life. And he would beat the fucking shit out of me if I screwed up. You guys, this is easy compared to what I had as a kid. I already came in knowing how to dress my foot locker. I knew how to do all that shit with the uniforms, get the sleeves aimed a certain way, everything." Yep. And I remember our second day, he went room to room doing an inspection, and he stopped at my locker and he just looked at it, and he opened the door, looked at that, and he looked at me, and then he walked out in the hallway and he goes, "Echo!" Everybody goes, "Echo!" You remember that shit, right? Where you got to echo whatever a drill instructor says.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they go, "Echo!" And then you have to go, "Echo!" And he goes, "Everybody report to private Kissel's room." And so everybody piled down there, and he made them walk in one by one to look at my foot locker. And he goes, "That's how you do it." And he looked at me, "Where'd you learn that?" And I said, "Military father." And he goes, "Aha."
Yeah.
Just all that shit was easy to me.
I didn't have I'm not going to go into my family dynamics growing up, but my influence
There's a lot
was
of abuse, I heard.
I mean, you know, stuff we don't talk about, you know, like sound.
Where'd they touch you? Show me on the doll where you were touched.
But when I was in ROTC though, you always have a senior instructor and a whatever the other instructor. And the senior instructor is always an officer. We had a military intelligence lieutenant colonel. He was a great guy, but he was not tough in any way, shape, or form. But the other instructor was a retired sergeant major who was a Vietnam vet and spent pretty much his entire fucking career in 75th Ranger Regiment. This guy was mean. He was fucking mean. He was one of those guys that you still respect the shit out of. He did not care that we were high school cadets. Like if you were fucking up, like I remember I was the leader of our rifle team, and apparently I fucked up on something. I failed to do something. He'll come over, put his arms on your shoulders, like he's just trying to get your attention, but he knows those pressure points. So he'll start like digging into your shoulders on those fucking pressure points. And I'm a high school student. I'm going, Roger, drill sergeant, I'll get it done, drill sergeant. Or sergeant major. So I learned how to respect an NCO in my high school days properly, and not to fuck up. So.
It's good, but I brought it up, and it's important to mention why. You do not, when you're in basic training or even AIT, you do not mention ROTC. Now, the fact is, if you were ROTC, you got an extra rank when you came in, automatically.
Yeah, I came in as an E3, private first class.
But the thing is, though, and I told Julio was my best friend in basic AIT. We didn't separate till permanent party, and he's the person I probably miss the most because I've never been able to find him, and I worry that he was killed. And but anyway, he was ROTC, and he was like helping us with DNC. And we'd go off by ourselves. We'd be given some private time. We'd go practice DNC, doing our weapons. Also, how during an inspection to let go of your weapon properly. And nothing funnier to me than when you see a full-bird colonel or any officer go to grab your weapon and you let go of it before they're able to grab it.
Oh, and it just drops to the ground.
And it drops to the ground. It's on them. It is on them. Yep. Because you are supposed to, the minute they move, release your weapon and drop your hands to the attention.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a quick move.
Yeah, it's a quick snap move. Mm-hmm. And it happened a couple times. I'm just telling you. But it was because of that drone ceremony. And he was essential to our training. But I told him, don't tell anybody you're a ROTC. Don't tell anybody. Don't let the drill sergeants know. They will fuck with you. Mm-hmm. And because he kept his mouth shut, he ended up being made platoon guide through basic. And he was great at it. And when our permanent senior drill instructor showed up, he'd been on vacation the first 2 or 3 weeks of our basic. And he was this little tiny white guy, airborne ranger. And I think he was 75th too. He was a tough motherfucker. He had pockmarked scars under his jawline from dry shaving.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm talking about. You've seen that shit in the Army.
Yeah.
And he had one of those voices, and it just, he was funny. And I would do a great impression when my voice is really injured, when my throat's hurt. I can do a great impression of him because his voice was so dry the way he talked. And he just shows up the very first day. We're out at one of the ranges getting ready to go on a lane. And he shows up and he's got us all in a little powwow circle in the gutter out in front of this building at Fort Leonard Wood. And he's trying to get to know us real quickly. And he says, I'm your senior drill instructor. I will be in charge from this point forward. I was on vacation, but I am here to make sure you boys are taken care of and to make sure you all stay in line. Are there any complaints? And Jones, the guy I told you about before the show that I knocked the shit out of, he pipes up, Julio's not doing his job. No, Gonzalez isn't doing his job. He's blah, 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 blah. He's bitching about him. He doesn't do blah, 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 blah. And Drill Sergeant Schmaltz goes, which one of you is Julio? And Julio raises his hand. He goes, you are fired. Drill Sergeant hand, the knife hand. You are fired. Jones, you are hired. And Jones gets all fucking like, all full of himself for a split. So you see it, his whole body lit up. And Drill Sergeant Schmaltz goes, what are you going to do differently? And Jones goes, and he goes, you are fired. Julio, you are rehired. Jones, don't you ever fucking open your mouth to me again about anything unless you know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love. I love this guy. He's a little tiny mouse-sized guy, real tiny. And but he was a badass. And I remember Teddy, he was the gangbanger. You'll hear me talk about him every once in a while. He was hiding because he was involved with the gang shooting. And he fled New York and joined the Army. And I'm like going, dude, this is an open base. when we're outside, you stay the fuck away from me because there's somebody looking for you. But,
I've heard you talk about that. Yeah.
He's a sweet guy, though. I really liked him, but he got fucked with. He got a small tib-fib fracture during a forced march, and it was raining like a motherfucker. Imagine it in Missouri, raining like a motherfucker. And he fell down a grade off the road and injured his leg. I had to help him, and we get him back to the barracks, and I'm looking at it. I said, we need to get you over to the medical center and have them do an x-ray. I think your leg's broken because you've got swelling and bruising here where there shouldn't be any bruising. And that's usually a sign of a fracture. Not a compound, but a closed fracture. And so because I was already a medic when I came into the Army. You know, I was an EMT. And I was also a nurse. I graduated nursing school. So I was a nurse, but I didn't graduate the second year, so I couldn't be an officer. And they told me to wait a year, and I'm like, I don't want to wait a year. I need this. I need my ass kicked. I need a change. That's what the Army is for, is to save me from my life. And it did, I'm telling you. But anyway, so Teddy's on his bunk. Drill Sergeant Schmaltz comes in there, and he says, you think you broke your leg? And he goes into this fucking story about jumping out of an airplane, and his main chute didn't deploy, and it took forever for his backup to deploy, that he impacted with the earth, and it shattered one of his legs, and he had to march for miles on that broken leg, and just he's a super fucking badass. And I, after he was done talking, and I'm like going, I'm not sure if he was trying to make you feel worse or just make you cry. Because there was nothing good out of that speech he was giving him. I don't know what that was meant for. And it ended up getting me a weekend pass, because at graduation, I did an impression of Drill Sergeant Schmaltz right in front of him. And every drill instructor was like, you nailed him. You nailed him. And I did that exact story, but I did it as a sex education class and putting a condom on a banana. Son, you do not know how to put a condom on a banana. Why are you crying? Roll it down. What is wrong with you? I once jumped out of a plane. My main chute did not deploy. My backup did not deploy. I impacted with the ground. I hit so hard it inverted my face. It was fine most of the time, but when it rained, I damn near drowned. Every drill instructor was fucking laughing. I made that up on the spot. And I'd never forget it to this day. It's one of those funny moments that I'm like, God, I got to remember that joke.
Well
I inverted. My face inverted. It was okay.
What have we got here? Fucking comedian.
And by the way, during reception, we got stuck in reception an extra 2 weeks because of something happened during training of the previous cycle. Okay. So we're stuck with these fucking failed drill instructors, and they've got chips on their shoulder, those fucking assholes. And, but I still wouldn't let them get to me. They couldn't bother me. But what freaked me out is I'm funny. I can't help it. I'm very funny. And all of a sudden they called me Private Joker. And I went, no, that name has been taken. I will not be called that. No, I won't let you. Worse than that, the fucking, I'm trying to think, mentally challenged guy that I got stuck with as a battle buddy during reception. He was already called Gomer Pyle. And I'm like, this isn't happening. You find another name for me. You're not, no.
You can't, nickname. You can't be unoriginal and take from Full Metal Jacket. That's
fuck that. So they ended up calling me Captain America because I had that all-American look, and I was tall and big and just terrifying. So they called me Captain America, and I'm like, I'm fine with that. But later, my drill instructor called me Ghost, and because
what's the story behind that?
Okay, you want that one? It stuck. It was something some people are already calling me, and he liked it because I walk very quietly, and I could walk up behind you and you would never hear me until I'm right there. And then you turn, and I have made numerous people jump. For a big guy, I'm very quiet. My daughter will tell you, I walk very quietly. I walk on the outsides of my feet from years of martial arts training. And I learned to walk on the outsides of my feet. So I'm very quiet when I walk. And so we went out for a field training exercise, and I got picked because I was the #1 top shot for our company. I was an expert. And I went out there with Cowboy. And Cowboy was a plumber. He was going to be a plumber. He wanted to be a ranger plumber. And I even made up a song for him, Airborne Plumber. Did cadence, and I was told never to do
Ranger
cadence
Plumber.
Yeah, Airborne. I want to be a
Ranger.
plumber. So
I want to be an airborne plumber.
Yep, you got it. And I can't sing worth a crap. And but they enjoyed my fake cadences. I'd make up fake cadences and do them, and they were just like be laughing, going, "What the fuck, dude?" And but anyway, so I'm out there with him, and we split up, and we're snipers on this, and we got the Miles gear on, and I'm sure you've used that shit. They got the Miles gear on.
Never fucking worked right.
I got to tell you though, it's fun because here's the trick. A lot of people don't know. You put the muzzle cover, the blast cover on the end of your M16 because it needs that gas
blank
pushback
adapter
to cause the laser to fire. It needs that concussion to happen. And so when you fire the weapon, that causes the laser to discharge, and you fire at people. So I went off at about 100 yards, and I went up past the ridge line, and then I came back up the ridge underneath leaves and just hid there. And what I learned about this thing is if you take a rock and you're sitting there with your weapon and you bang the barrel with the rock, it discharges the laser.
You don't even have to go that far, as a matter of fact, because the laser device, it's a box that goes over your barrel. You can see where there's the lasers on the right side, and it's a microphone type thing on the left side. All you have to do is actually tap it with.
I didn't even know that was a microphone. I thought it was a sensor.
No, it's a little microphone. It's a little microphone to pick up the sound. All you have to do is tap that, and it'll fire the laser. Yep.
Fuck, I could have cheated even further. So I sat up there 100 yards away from them, and they couldn't find me. And you have never heard anything until you hear the cacophony sound of a bunch of Miles gears alarms going off at once. And it is so fucking funny because in the movie Heartbreak Ridge, that's not how loud they are. They are fucking loud.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear each other over them. Now you have about 20 of them going off at once, and you get those field justices running around with that little Coca-Cola machine key to turn it off. And it's like, it's funny as shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny. And so I sat up there, and Dave Hope was our platoon sergeant. And he says, "Where the fuck were you? We were looking for you, and you just kept shooting us. We couldn't hear a report. How far away were you?" And I said, "I'm not telling you where I was at. I'm just saying, remember, I'm the one person in the platoon other than Cowboy that made expert with the M16. And little did they know, I wasn't even 100 yards away from him hiding, just tapping the barrel.
Yep.
I wish I'd known that. If I'd known that, I would have done that.
We learned that because like I said, when I was in long range surveillance, one of the things that we had to train on all the fucking time was break contact drills, because that's one of the most motion active things you'd have to do if you make contact, especially as a small team, whether you're 4 to 6 people on your team. Then they want you to be able to respond. And the thing is, you got to get the fuck out of there. So you're carrying your fucking 100+ pound rucksack and doing bounding drills. So, one person's moving, one person's turning and shooting, and you're bounding. And so you do that a lot, and it is fucking brutal. So we learned the lesson, especially if, one day we've already done that for like a fucking hour. Okay, we're going to go back out there again. We're not going to get seen. Fuck that. We're fucking camouflaging in. We ain't going anywhere. So we'll just sit there and fucking tap on the fucking laser and start killing people. Make sure we don't have to even stand up, let alone fucking run anymore that day.
Wow. Yeah. You figured that shit out well. Also,
I don't even remember where I learned that. I feel like I might have just been experimenting one day and like, holy shit,
that's how we did it.
I
found out because I accidentally triggered somebody's Miles gear. I was tapping the barrel with the rock, just seeing what would happen if I did that.
Yep, it works.
Learn something.
Yep.
But I know that like our seniors, because you have to do that one moment where you got to go through the lane, and they set up a sniper area, and they want you to walk through ours. They told us to walk through in a wedge formation. I said, let me get this right. You're the aggressor, and you're telling us the formation you want us to approach you in. I went, no. So when it was time for us to move forward, I put us in a staggered position, in different positions. They weren't prepared for that, and we killed all the snipers. We didn't actually physically kill them, but we
I got you.
Set up their gear, and it pissed it wasn't Drill Sergeant Schmaltz. It was another drill instructor that was in charge, and he got mad, and he ended up losing his job. He got fired because he made a boy drink his Listerine. And mom got involved with it, and you know how moms are, man. They ruin everything.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
got him. He lost
The
his
reasons
strike.
basic trainer, fucking bunch of pussy shit now.
Yeah, I swear to God, it's what's wrong. Mothers have ruined the military, and the woke, and you know what?
Yeah.
The woke learned from the moms.
Oh yeah, well it's the same
Where they
people.
learn that
It's a bunch of fucking a bunch
Karens.
of white ladies living in cul-de-sacs. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Karens.
Karens.
Karens. Yeah.
And so he starts yelling at us, and he's like, "It's bullshit," you know. And then we had this one guy named Hutchko, which I saved him from an ass beating one day, and threatened to beat this other guy, two other guys' ass, because they were going to fuck him because he pissed himself during a what do you call it? It was the inspection with the Fulberg Colonel. What's that called? Command inspection. Is that it? Command inspection.
Yeah. That sounds right.
It was like some big thing. And
It's like the big final inspection. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Hutchko kept asking the drill sergeant, he needs to go to the bathroom. And he didn't know he could just fucking go because he's an idiot. Okay. And he was in a different bay from where I was at. I was in another bay. And he's in there, and he had a full bladder, and he had to piss, and right in front of the Fulberg Colonel, he fucking pissed his pants.
Jeez.
And it led to this embarrassing moment for our platoon. It really was bad. But then some of the guys wanted to beat his ass, and again, I threatened him. I'm like, you fuck with him, you're fucking with me. Just letting you know. Go ahead, let your conscience be your guide. But if you fuck with him, you're fucking with me. And I walked away. And I said, I better not hear anything happen to him. But then he comes to my barracks later because as a junior leader, a squad leader, you were given a room with other squad leaders, okay? And he came into the room to thank me for everything. This is near graduation. And I looked up, his name is Hutchko. I've shown pictures of him to people because I remember this guy. He was a fuck chop. And
fuck chop?
Yeah, he was
the first time I've heard that.
Oh, really? That was popular.
I've never heard fuck chop.
It's fucking pork chop put together. Fuck chop.
Okay.
And
I like it.
He oh my God. He comes walking in, and he's really heartfelt. He's talking to me. And I looked up at him, and I said, Hutchko, I don't like you. Okay? I don't like you. I don't hate you. I just don't like you. And I see you as a weak person. If we were to be deployed right now, if they told us to leave this place right now, get on a plane and head over to Saudi Arabia to fight in that war that's coming, I said, I swear to God, I would shoot you in the foot first opportunity. I wouldn't want to hurt you, but I want you out of the way because you're going to get somebody killed because you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I said, my advice to you, and I'm not doing this as a friend, I'm doing this as your squad leader. Get your head out of your ass. And you better get it pulled together before you go to permanent party because you're fucked as a soldier right now. If you go the way you are right now, you are completely fucked. And they're going to get rid of you. And I don't know what happened to that kid. I don't. I hope that he listened to me. I really do. But, people make that mistake. I'll stand up for you means I like you. No, I just stand up for people that are being bullied. I won't tolerate it around me. I cannot stand that shit. I can't stand it. Like Keith has been there. Keith got picked on one night by this asshole on a show. You haven't met Keith yet. No. He's kind of my partner. He's the one I created the channel with. And Keith, every time we tried to say something, this guy would interrupt it. And I lost my shit live on this guy. It wasn't on our channel, so it's somebody else's channel. It's Tim's channel. I lost my shit on this guy. And I said, why don't you shut up and let him finish his sentence and then decide if you got an argument? Wait and let the guy make his point and then make your argument. That's how it works. It's called parliamentary rules. But I was so, I had to leave. I said, I got to go. And I left because I'm going to get mad and I'm going to say stuff that people don't want to hear. And I did it on another guy's show once. That's why I'm careful whose shows I go on to, because a good friend of mine had a show and his co-host triggered the shit out of me with something stupid. He kept getting stupid with me. And finally, I went, is that really what you believe, that the prequel trilogy is as good, if not better, than the original Star Wars trilogy? Then you're a fucking moron. You really are. Is that what you really believe? You're going to argue with me about this? Wow. You're a fucking idiot. I'm done talking to you. I'll talk to Jace. Oop, I said his name. I didn't mean to. Because I love that kid. But I could not stand his co-host. And it went so badly that the kid ended the show into the stream and then deleted it permanently.
Hey, Sheila.
So it would never see the light of day. That episode will never see the light of day other than its original live stream.
Okay, yeah, you were telling me about that the other day. Yeah.
I'm scary. I can get scary. And I know everybody's seen it. Like I went off one night on our own program and we got people that won't come back because I asked, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Don't let him fool you. He's a big teddy bear.
I can be, but I can also be a grizzly, and it's horrifying. And I feel bad for people when they see that side of me.
Oh, I believe it can be a bear.
Oh, fuck you, you transgendered motherfucker. He was a girl before he joined the army. He was a pretty girl.
By the way, I know you guys like talking UFOs and stuff too. My friend Sheila Aliens just popped in. She's got a big UFO channel.
She knows our UFO show with Don Ecker.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize there's a connection there. Awesome.
I hadn't heard from Don. In fact, Andy Morrow, for sure, Andy Morrow. I'm looking to see if there's anybody else that watches the show just because of our connection with UFOs. I don't see the other ones here. And Sheila Aliens. I think Sheila came to watch us because of our UFO show.
Yeah. Sheila was a long time regular on my Saturday show, Skinemax Saturday, but she has a real life now, so she's going out and doing real life stuff.
She ain't got time for you.
She's a fucking snob, putting real life over YouTube. How dare she? Everyone knows YouTube is life.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't said good morning to everybody in the chat. We got Andy Morrow from the UK. Penny is here. That's Danny's mom. FKHC 2005, also known as Tim. VetsTalkin, which is you.
Hey.
And Anima Confusa, who's the love of my life. D. Bud Martin. She's at work today, so I'm really happy that she could stop in. D. Bud Martin. Lord Thoth. All hail Lord Thoth.
Hail.
He is the Lord of the hoary netherworld. Joe's Atmosphere is here. Joe's a fellow veteran. He was an MP. Don't tell anybody.
Ooh,
and
you got one of those on my channel too. Fuck those guys.
Oh man, I told him. I said, even though I love my brother Michael, great veteran. I love my brother. I miss him so much. Was an MP. He was an MP too. And our nickname for him, because I was with the 170th Infantry out of Fort Belvoir, and our nickname for him was Military Pricks.
Military Pricks. Oh yeah.
Okay. MP.
Yeah.
We got Brandon, the anime guy, a good friend of ours who does his anime show on Saturdays. Brandon, I am curious. You can let me know in the chat. Have you talked to Boone yet? I connected you two so you could talk. Boone was the sniper from 13 Hours, and the real guy.
Holy shit!
He's a friend of mine, and God, I've had him on our show twice now. He's got him and Sarah. Sarah was the CIA target analyst. And she was there until that event happened. She was up north. I think she was in Syria, I think, when the shit went down there, or she was up in Turkey. I think she was in Crete when it happened. So she wasn't there for the 13-hour nightmare. But I also want to say hi to Sheila Aliens. It's so awesome to see you again. She's kind of new to the show, and I've known about her for a while because I know a lot of folks in the UFO community over on Twitter. And she was one of the people I was recommended to become friends with. So I friended her or followed her, however you want to call that.
That is also another big topic for me as well. In fact, me and Sheila, I'm going to pop on her show and talk about Dugway Proving Ground sometime, where I trained for a few months, which is known to be, or at least believed to be, Area 52 now. And I didn't find that until after I did training there.
Too. Yeah.
I was watching randomly. I was watching UFO Hunters, and they did an entire episode on Dugway Proving Ground. Like, what the fuck? I
was there. I had no idea.
I had no idea.
Well, most of your average Joes who are in the military aren't aware that some of the bases are involved with other things. But also, last person to mention is Shinatsky is here, my good friend Shinatsky. Hope everybody is having a good hump day. Let's see. Anybody say anything interesting? Do we have any starred comments? No starred comments. Okay. Nothing. And then I did see that Tim asked this earlier to know UFO today. No, they hadn't gotten back to me, and I can't just spontaneously do a show with Dawn. We need to have something to talk about planned out. And so when nobody got back to me, I decided we'll just bump it to next week. But I will tell you guys that it is his birthday today. And go find Don Ecker over on Facebook and you wish him a happy birthday today. He's such an amazing human being. And it's an honor having him in my life. And so happy birthday, Don. We hope you have a great day today. Used to be he used to pop into the shows just to see if I was cussing. But now we don't worry about it.
Fuck no. There's no fucking cussing here.
I've given up caring. I'm going to talk the way I want to. And it's going to demonetize us, and I just don't give a shit.
Nah, I mean, it's fine here as long as you don't, do it in the first like fucking 10 seconds or whatever.
I've been told no that they do the bots do a full search, and because they did, we got this channel right here, this show, got completely demonetized for an episode because I was talking to an Iraq War veteran buddy of mine, John Andrews, and he fought in the Battle from Mosul back in 2004, June 24th, 2004. And right after the battle took place, he was told by this officer to pick up a human head that was laying there. He picked that up. And when he turned back, the officer was nowhere to be seen. And he walked around for a little bit with his head in his hands, not knowing what to do with it. And I couldn't help but I made the joke. I said, like sort of like Batman 66 running out with a bomb. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah.
And apparently that pissed somebody off at YouTube.
Well, and that, I mean, you can go through like when you upload a video, you can it gives you that option to be able to, put your own rating on. And it does have that stuff on there, like talking about extreme stuff, like, talking about death and bodies and stuff like that. Actually, the fact that we just mentioned that very well might strike this channel. But cursing alone, they won't really get you on, but they are very picky about talking about certain things.
Which I think is anti-veteran.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's very anti-veteran. Yeah. And I want to call them on it.
You want to hear something really bad, though. So I told you I watched The Sound of Freedom last night, because I thought we were going to talk about it today, but that's still not a problem. I should have seen it anyways eventually. And immediately when I was in the parking lot, I did a quick 60-second YouTube short on it. Literally all I did, I didn't talk about any specifics. I didn't cuss. I didn't talk about anything that even happened in the subject matter of the movie. All I said is this is a great movie. Everyone needs to see it. And it got flagged as inappropriate for most advertisers.
Yep. And that's what all advertisers for that episode with John. No one wanted the advertiser. And
but again,
is it.
But you were talking about like body parts and stuff. I didn't say anything about that. No child stuff or anything. It only got flagged. Why? Because it was of the movie The Sound of Freedom. That's the only reason. I guarantee the only reason that got flagged.
Because you mentioned it. By the way, Pop says here the algorithm will scan for profanity, and some advertisers will not want to post there. Not a surprise, really. I wish they would make it easier to put an ad or select the kind of advertisers that you want. Because I'll tell you right now, the people we look for, and we are going to start looking for real advertisers, are gun dealers, ammo, manufacturers of military and weapons gear. They're the kind of people that we want on this channel, other than the nerd stuff. And then when it gets to the nerd stuff, I'd want to find advertisers for nerd, merchandise.
Yeah,
because we're friends with a guy that has a click and mortar company here in town, and he was interested in doing this show 4 years ago. So I wanted to approach him now that we've got these kinds of numbers that we get, to see if it would be more interesting for him.
Yeah.
But let me get into some of these starred comments. So Sheila Aliens says, "Yeah, right. You stole my boyfriend from me last Saturday because he was on your show." Was that me or you?
MK Ultra is a part of VetsTalkin. Is a part of VetsTalkin. I didn't steal him away. He wanted to hop on. You can't blame me for that.
Hell no. Joe's Atmosphere says, "I'm recovering from my birthday stream last night. Happy birthday, Joe. Hope you had a good one, buddy."
I do see MK's in the chat as well.
I saw The Wire.
3.5 hours.
What's that?
We went for 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Pop says, "I saw the Wired article about Area 52, so he knows what you're talking about."
Yeah, I've been looking up. There are a few articles out there. Dude, I'll tell you, man. It's a weird place. It is a really fucking weird place.
That is so unusual, though. But I've just over the last year heard about Area 52, and I'm like, what is this about? Because my fascination is with you. By the way, MK Ultra Hiking and Gear Reviews, who his friend that came on the show, that is Sheila Alien's boyfriend, says, "Good morning, everyone. GTS Adam up on the panel. He is not on the panel. He is the co-host of this show. He is my fellow host. We host this show together. And today I decided, instead of us going into nerd stuff, I thought last second, literally right before we went live, I'm just going to interview you and just talk to you. And that's going to be what we do this show, which has been fine so far. I've been enjoying this.
Adam?
And,
Yes.
Did you come out of Sound of Freedom all pissed off?
I came out there still with tears in my fucking eyes.
And he only watched that film because I asked him to.
Off.
You only watched that film because I asked you to.
Yeah, we talked about, because he did say he wanted to talk about it. I thought it was going to be today. Again, I have no problem.
We'll do it next week.
Not
I
a problem.
still haven't had a chance to finish it, so I need to finish it.
I didn't want to watch it because, for one, I talked about this on my show. We do a Thursday show called Knife Hands, where it's just we talk political stuff and we get on very heavy topics. Whereas the Saturday show is much more lighthearted. We talk pop culture and whatnot. But so we talked an entire 2 hours about the Sound of Freedom and the awful fucking reaction that this, that the media has had towards it. And I told everyone, like, I don't think I can watch this movie. And the main reason being because I went through an executive protection course called Executive Security International. And some of our instructors there were actually a part of one of these volunteer rescue groups that go and rescue children. And they had an entire promotional video up where because they have to get donations and whatnot. So that they use that. And a lot of the footage is of these children. And it was even worse that we had these backstories. Like the instructors told us, hey, this child, when we saw this person, I don't want to get into it because it's super fucking depressing. So I'm like, I knew this was going to be too heavy of a topic for me to fucking be able to watch this movie. And it really was incredibly difficult to watch, but I am beyond happy that I did, because I didn't really... Yes, the movie made me angry because of what these people are willing to do and even want to do to these children. But I came out inspired because, especially of Jim Caviezel's message at the end. And it's a very positive message that we can bring change to this awful shit that's happening. So I actually did come out of it extremely emotional and very inspired. So it's a fantastic movie, which I will not stop saying. Everyone does need to see this movie.
Yeah, I've seen it twice so far.
You know what? The old lady next to me, she said it was her third time seeing it. I'm like, I don't know how you can do that. But after, like I said, after seeing it, I'm like, okay, you're still putting yourself through some brutal shit. Because she was, even third time seeing it, she was still fucking bawling, crying.
Oh, yeah.
And, I personally, because I told you my story is, I've endured, having a child kidnapped. And it was parental kidnapping or family kidnapping. But nonetheless, it has the same impact on you because you don't know if you'll ever see that kid again. And it was my daughter, Zoe, is the one that broke me. And it's what led to me, I told you before the show, I said, I had some post-traumatic stress. That's all I had. And it was from working in the medical field and some of the shit that I had to deal with. Army was awesome. I have no post-traumatic stress from the Army. My daughter says, you got any war stories? I said, yeah, baby, but they're all funny. Yeah. They're all funny. Nothing. I didn't see combat. I just did funny shit and said funny shit and saw fucked up shit. But anyway, so when I went through that shit with my daughter, I thought it was fine. You go through it and you're trained a certain way. The military does change you permanently. Oh yeah. And you know what I'm talking about. That stays with you the rest of your life. 100%. And so I used my military training to get me through that kidnapping. And then I got her back. And then I went into it, what I would refer to as a full court. I just forgot the term, basketball, full court press. From them, where they were just constantly bombarding me with harassment and threats. If Zoe was home, I wasn't worried. But when I let her go for a visit, I was armed. I was always armed because I knew they wanted to kill me. Oh, fuck off, Mom.
Fail. Didn't put your fucking phone on vibrator. Turn it off. First one's gonna get on you.
I'm
what
doing
the fuck,
it now.
Soldier.
I know. Jesus. Everything's muted on it, but that.
I figured you'd have it on vibrate and sitting in the back door.
Well, you know, I do that every once in a while, and you can
Under your
still
ass.
hear it. It'll start vibrating on the show, and you'll hear it vibrating the desk. And
No,
I'm
we
like,
won't hear the
Jesus
phone. We'll just hear you go, ooh.
Christ. Ooh, ooh. Oh my, that's really nice. Oh,
Jesus
There he goes.
Christ.
We have a super sticker from Darius.
Darius Munchausen? Yeah,
Yeah.
the single most best Munchausen for children. Yeah, that's Darius Munchausen. He's very safe. He will not cause deaths or injuries. Darius, thank you, sir. I know what it is. It's what do you call it? A pear holding a cup of coffee. And thank you, sir. This is our first day with DMN as the morning show, and I think it's probably better that we flipped them. The UFO show is better as an afternoon show, especially for Dawn. And I want to thank you again, all of you guys, for being here. It's so awesome to see you. We have our dedicated audience. We still end up with close to between 150 to 200 views a day on these shows, because people come in later that are at work, and they come and watch the show. So I'm very happy that the morning coffee shows do well, but it's kind of neat moving the dangerous military nerds to this. And eventually I think that I may change it back to just dangerous nerds, because that's what it originally was. There's actually a Facebook page. You can join it. I created it back in 2011 for all my military buddies and their families to come and talk nerd shit. And you know, because I started the idea of what a dangerous nerd is way back in 2011.
Yeah,
and so the group is still there, or it's a page, not a group. I wish Facebook could allow us to transition a page we created back in 2011 to today into a group page. There should be an ability to change that so it doesn't lose the people that are in the group.
Yeah, no, I remember having that issue. Like when they got into a big thing about wanting to have personal pages and business pages or group pages be completely separate. I was a commander of my VFW post, and I had our fucking one of our other officers, but he's, you know, an older guy. He didn't understand. I had to create a whole new page, and he got pissed off. He's like, well, why did you do that? We had all the people over here. Like, you don't understand. They're going to cancel this. They're going to get rid of this page completely because it's not an actual person's name. And sure enough, like a month later, they deleted that fucking page. I'm like, are you happy I did that now, motherfucker? I told you it's going to happen.
Yeah, I was worried it might happen with our pop culture Facebook page. It hasn't happened. It's been going for 3 years strong. And it is the one that I gave the password for everybody that's part of pop culture to go in there to log into the Pop Culture Minefield page so they can post into the group as Pop Culture Minefield and not show up as themselves. And I said, I prefer it that way. That way it sounds more internalized and it doesn't look like you are personally posting to the page.
Yeah.
And but anyway, they haven't shut us down yet, which is weird because it's the name of it is Pop, first name, last name, Culture Minefield. Or they do it the other way. Yeah. Pop Culture and Minefield is the last name.
Yeah, that is surprising because they shut ours down. It was up as a personal page, like you were a person, but it was a VFW post whatever, and they shut that shit down. Man,
that's crazy. Cam's here. Look at that. We're not even an hour in. You are on time as far as I'm concerned. Good morning, Cam. And of course, Decepticons Caves of Comics and Toys is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody's enjoying our new co-host for the show. This is my buddy, Adam.
They hate me.
VetsTalkin. He's a good dude. Although when I get into that chat, I want to make fun of it a little bit. I forgot just how fucking chatty some military people are. And there's just, I will say something, just one thing, and then I'll come back, and it's a million like comments away from where it was like 10 minutes ago. Just like they talk way too much in that group. More than I'm going to read. I'm not reading that much. If I'm going to read that much, I'm going to go back to reading books again.
I can't even keep up with it sometimes. Yeah,
no, you just can't. It's impossible.
Yeah,
but
we were talking about that before earlier when you invited me onto the chat group for the channel and everything. Like I get that it's like very specific.
Ours
so it's
is
like
specific.
Yeah. But
So I
it's
told
like,
you, fucking pay attention, motherfucker.
yeah, which I will from now on. But yeah, I'm in like so many fucking different chat because I'm on like multiple different channels, you know, and so I have my own. I try to pay attention to the VetsTalkin chat group more than anything else, but I'm on all this other stuff, and everyone just has like all this shit they want to talk about. So it's just like these nothing but long conversations of all kinds of shit. I'm like, I can't keep up with all this, man. I'll try,
look, dude.
but...
I get it. It's hard.
Yeah.
But I would recommend to take a look at stuff we're saying. I'll probably tag you when it's really important. And I did
please
tag
do.
you today.
Yeah.
I tagged
That'd be
you
a good way
today.
to do it.
And because what I want to do each week, because things have to change. Those of you in the audience, just to know, I had a rough couple of days, and I mean it was bad, and I got angry on. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I was pretty angry when I did the Monday show, and I was trying not to be. And somebody was like, "Well, you seem in a better mood." No, I'm still in a foul fucking mood. I'm just able to talk about things and joke when I'm angry. And but after the show is done, I told the guys, I'm fucking going. I'm still in a foul mood and I don't need to be around people. And I went and I basically slept off and on from the moment I left you guys until this morning. And I wanted to avoid talking to people too much. But last night I woke up at one point and I decided I'm going to comment. And what I said to the team was, I am really considering just ending Pop Culture Minefield as what it is right now. I might continue a couple of shows, but the way things are right now, it's just not working. And I can't handle it anymore. I thought I could handle it when Keith was going. It's sort of like, you know, that situation where I talked about dealing with the kidnapping. I thought, oh, I can handle this. I've got this. And then all it takes is one bad fucking weekend of not getting enough sleep. And I broke this week. And I broke. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I'm going to fucking die from this. I'm going to have a stroke or a heart attack or an aneurysm or whatever you want to fucking call it. My dick will fall off and I'll bleed to death. And I can't deal with some things I've been doing. I've been doing too much and it's hurt my career. And it really has. Doing this channel has hurt my art career. And I've got to stop doing that. I have to nurture my career better than that. But the show, I need my team to really work with me in getting things done. And like Martin said this wonderful thing, because Martin fears the military stuff we do. He really does. I think Anima is afraid of it too, because they're not military, okay? So he says, I don't know how to plan that out. And I said, it's just like any other nerd show, because what this show is about is our perspective of those things.
Yep.
Because you and I have talked, and I told you before we do the show together, I had to talk with you, and I absolutely fell in bro love with you. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be able to do a show with this guy. Plus, you look a little bit like
virtual hug.
Yeah, you look a little like Bush McFadden, and Bush knows how much I love him. And you know,
I'll take that as a compliment.
Now that you mention it, he does look like Bush.
I told you, he looks like his first cousin. Like they grew up together. It's weird.
Non-banging cousins.
But he knows Bush too. Adam does. And
yeah, he's been in my chat before.
But this show is about military guys. It's and by the way, I saw that Lord thought it's not just Army guys. I love hanging out with Marines. I love hanging out with squids. I like hanging out with Air Force guys, even though I poke fun at them so much. Because, you know, in the military, we have nicknames for every branch. You know, U.S. Marine Corps is Devil Dogs, Jarheads, Leathernecks, Gyrene. U.S. Army, we're Dogs, we're Doughboys, we're fucking, what's the other one we get called all the time? Grunts. But that's Marines, too. Marines and Army have that in common because we both have infantry.
Yep.
Marines are infantry and Army are infantry, so therefore we get called grunts. Grunts are the guys that hump, and you grunt when you hump, and that's where that comes from during the Vietnam War. And so you got that. I said, then you got the Navy. Navy's what? Squids, seamen. Yes.
I don't care that at the same time.
I always love that one. And then U.S. Air Force, what are they called? Oh, yeah. Air Force is called
Wingnuts.
Called civilians in uniform.
Or chair force.
No, we called them civilians in uniform because the fuckers had hair over their ears and mustaches all the way out past the corners of their mouths. I remember when my unit was when I was with the 308th Med Ambulance. I left the 170th Infantry in Virginia, moved all the way across the country, and I joined the 308th Med Ambulance. And we were in a strip mall. We split the strip mall with the 321st MASH unit. They had one end and we had the other end. And my sergeants, Eugene Tevez and Tom Parker, took me to lunch at the Chow Hall there on the Air Force Base. It's McClellan Air Force Base in Sacramento. So we go in there and it's like dark mahogany type wood, like dark. It's so dark. The wood is so dark, it absorbs the light in the room. And so it's really dark, like a fancy candlelit restaurant. And they got these fancy lanterns on the walls, like steakhouse. They're not real candles, they're electric, but they look like candles. And I keep looking around and I'm like, I know I'm the new guy, they're fucking with me. We're in an officers club and I'm going to get in trouble for this. So I was on edge the whole time I'm sitting there with them. And so we ordered the meal and they're going to bring the meal to us.
Isn't that fancy?
Fuck, dude, I'm serious. We order it just like in a restaurant and they bring the meal to us. We're used to Chow Hall. We're used to being in a line and getting shit slopped on a fucking tray.
Mm-hmm.
Best food I had in the Army was in Texas at San Antonio when we started eating Mexican food because we had Mexican cooks and they'd make us real Mexican breakfasts and real Mexican lunches and Mexican dinners. We'd have that and you could pick what you ate. Would you like fajitas or would you like a burrito? And I'm like, I will have all of it. I will take all 3,000 calories in every meal, 9,000 calories for the day. Yes, I will. So
I was just happy with in Chow Hall for breakfast. I had the omelet thing where you go over there and you can tell them what exactly you want in your omelet. There was a couple of different places. I know that
you don't get that very often. Those are special bases.
Yeah, Fort Huachuca had it. Intel, of course.
Fort Huachuca has a great Chow Hall. I've eaten there. Really good stuff. They also offer Southwestern menu. Same with San Antonio. San Antonio and Fort Huachuca have some of the best Chow Halls I've ever seen. But anyway, so I'm in this Air Force one, and I'm meeting with my sergeant. I'm on edge the whole time, and we get and it's a fucking steak. I'm eating a steak. And I look over, and some guys come in those classic 90s shirts. They're thin cut, not to be tucked in. So they go over the belt line, and thin blunt collar. And, I'm looking at this. It's like they shopped at Chess King. If anybody remembers the 80s, and Chess King was like one of those clothes shop for punkers and new wavers. So they come walking in, and they're not in uniform. They got hair down over their ears, both of them. Hair come down over their ears, and both had mustaches out the ear. They weren't like Magnum PI mustaches. They were more like thin mustaches, but they went all the way out to the edges. And I'm like, who are they? And Sergeant Tevez goes, Air Force. I'm like, boy, I joined the wrong branch. Jesus Christ. Full mustache? Oh my God. And but I found out later, no, that was their fucking Chow Hall.
Yeah.
They fucking bring the food to you.
Yeah.
That's insane. Air Force, civilians in uniform was the joke. We go through all those names for all the different branches. You get the Air Force, and the answer was civilians in uniform.
When I was stationed in Italy with the 173rd Airborne Brigade, we would
which is the same, by the way, as my other buddy that was on the other day. And you wanted,
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he was 173rd, and that was crazy because that was the day that we were talking, and you invited me to be on that show. I had something else I wanted to do, but I caught the beginning of it and blew my mind that dude was also 173rd.
Right there in Italy with you.
Not only that, the exact same fucking time, because he was telling the story about how he was deploying to Iraq in 2003 after the unit had already been there. That was when I was there. I was there from 01 to 04. I was in Iraq already with the brigade when he was coming in as one of the replacements, and that blew my fucking mind. I should have been on that show with him. That would have been really fucking cool.
That was my buddy Michael, who was on last week, and what a great interview. I love that guy. I'm so pissed we couldn't finish the interview with him because he was just really, He takes forever to get to the battle, and then we ran out of time. When he got to the battle, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I wanted you to talk about.
Yeah.
The
Guys,
build-up
we
took too
have to
long.
do our break.
We don't have to. We're not on KGRA.
Oh, okay.
We are not
So-
on. We're not on anything other than YouTube right now. So we're not going to do it. I'm tired of this shit. Did you get my tweet about John Conker book? What? Ram Bam? Did you send it to me? When did you send it? You send it to my personal account. This is my personal account. Make sure you send it to this one. There you go. I was blue checked, and then here's the funny thing. It took them almost 3.5 weeks to get my blue check going. But boy, I tell you, when it's time comes due, they don't wait. They make you wait. That's typical bullshit that pisses me off about companies. They'll make you wait, but when it comes time for them to wait till you get paid, not going to do it.
Oh,
all they had to do was wait 5 days. They had to wait 5 days. Couldn't do it. Did you get my tweet about John Conker book? I don't know. I got anything. Who did you send it to?
God knows it's the same with the military. Is they can slack off and fuck up your pay all day long, but the second that you get overpaid and you have to pay back, you better get that paid back right the fuck away.
Well, let me give this video to our dear friend Rambam.
Rambam 3000. Thank you for the two quid.
And here we go.
Which is more
Surely
than
you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Let me I'm going to go over to my because I don't go to our Twitter account very often for the Pop Culture Minefield, because I've got these guys covering it. I don't spend a lot of time over there. I'm almost always on my own account trying to promote what we do, and also make it clear that I won't talk politics on Pop Culture Minefield's page, but I will talk the shit out of it on my personal. And I make it clear what my politics are, and I don't fuck around. Hey, Stone Pie Media is here. What are you up to, buddy? Hey, y'all. Hope your AC is working overtime today. No, I got to be honest with you. The AC only works every once in a while here. It keeps it right around just under 80 degrees, but the fan does a great job keeping me cool. So I'm quite.
It's amazing. So when I was at the Sound of Freedom, I was about to say Sound of Music again, Sound of Freedom movie last night. Everyone was we're all looking around going, are they trying to fuck with us? It's hot as shit in here, and we all thought that we were part of one of those conspiracies. They were trying to like sweat us out. Thankfully, they finally turned it on as the trailer started. But it is suspicious though. Like why have your AC turned off and then only turn it on when? I've never been in a theater that does that. It's always kept cool. So at least it did turn it on though, because it was a packed theater. It was completely fucking packed, which is very impressive, especially for a Tuesday. And I loved it at the end when Jim Caviezel did his speech. Everyone was fucking applauding. It was very. It's like I said. That's the reason I came out of that theater very inspired, at least.
Oh, exactly. I hate to go in another direction, but I just got a message from a friend.
Oh yeah, I was just filling airtime, dude. Go ahead.
It's an article or a post from Lotus Eaters News, which shows the times.co.uk. Lotus Eaters News. I don't know if you follow them or not.
That's Carl Benjamin's group.
Yeah, it's Carl Benjamin's group. And a federal judge has overturned the military conviction of Bo Bergdahl, a former U.S. soldier who was captured and tortured by the Taliban after he deserted his post. He also got other people killed going out looking for him.
Well, so they overturned the conviction. What remind me what the conviction was? I can't remember if he actually did get.
Well, he should have had a military
desertion.
conviction. He should have had a military conviction for desertion.
Yeah,
leaving his post without permission.
So did he get convicted that, or was he excused and never got convicted? What?
Oh man, I can't read the article. It's the Times, and I got to have a membership.
I know that we ended up we made a deal with the Taliban in the Obama era, if I remember right.
It was a trade.
It was a trade, which pissed everyone off.
Done it. Yeah,
right.
They got a whole bunch of fucking killers back for our one fucking traitor.
And then when he was over here, did he get in trouble or not? So what got overturned?
I'm looking it up. Conviction.
Just like when we traded for that basketball
overturned.
player,
Yeah, we gave
I'm
them the
looking it up, see
fucking
if I can find
the God of War or some
the
shit like that.
merchant of death.
The Merchant of Death for a fucking anti-American.
I love Google doesn't give its politics up at all.
Oh no, that's why I never use that.
The first news they always have ABC, New York Times,
CNN, MSNBC,
CBS,
ABC,
Washington Post, then Fox News. And Fox News is pretty much right down the middle now. It's very woke.
No, they've gone pretty much far left at this point.
Yeah, they are.
PJ Media, the Met. Oh my God. Going on the second page, see if there's anything from really down the middle, real politically non-biased.
Yeah,
Newsmax is on the second page. Let's go there.
I find that Microsoft Bing is better. It's not as bad, but it's still not great.
Now, what is this? What's the date on this? Friday, 20th of August of 2021. It's too old. So nobody is covering this on the conservative side, at least as far as Google says, because Google wouldn't hide anything from us at all. But ABC, I'll go to ABC. Bo Bergdahl's conviction vacated by federal judge citing potential for conflict of interest. Former U.S. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, who was court-martialed for desertion during his tour in Afghanistan, had his conviction vacated on Tuesday by a federal judge who said a military judge had failed to disclose a potential conflict of interest. Prior to ruling on Bergdahl's case, the military judge had submitted an application for position as an immigration judge in the Justice Department under then President Donald Trump. Judge Reggie B. Walton wrote in Tuesday's order. The military judge should have disclosed they just need to retry him.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No, he instead he's just getting off. Right. Oh, I'm fucking mad now.
Yeah. They just simply go, then that's a mistrial. We need to, let him go. And but he can be retried again because you can't vacate somebody's decision like that. This is going to be a problem.
I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed now.
Gary, would you like a little tip about those paywall pages? If you go to archive.is and put that URL in archive.is, it'll bring up an archived version which has the full article.
Archive.is.
What
is .is?
I've got a full article here on Washington Examiner.
I am bookmarking this.
They've even got a Chrome extension so you can just click the button and it'll do it.
Oh, really? I'm adding it now. There it is. I see it. Chrome extension, adding it. There we go. Extension. Yes, I do add to Chrome. Well, thank you. I will. Add extension. Yes, I will. Thank you.
This is definitely going to be the main topic on my show for Knife Hands tomorrow. This
is unfucking believable. We have another hour. We can talk about this right now. Bo Bergdahl wandered off a post with intent.
Yeah. He didn't just wander off accidentally. He did it completely on purpose. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing. And look, this isn't the first time this shit happened. People are unaware. This happened a lot in the Vietnam War. The guys just wander off and they would end up, Americans would end up either being captured and imprisoned, or they would become traitors and working for the Viet Cong or the NVA. Yeah, this is fucking crazy, dude. This is insane.
So, this guy voluntarily wandered off, obviously, because he did it intentionally. He'll have no problem when in a situation like this, he'll have no problem giving away whatever secrets he has, which in this case, they're on a small fob, if I'm not mistaken.
Unit strength and all that shit he gave away.
At least an observation post, and he was an NCO. So he has more knowledge than your basic private. He was a sergeant. So this guy had he wasn't no officer or anything like that, but he still had a good amount of information that can be very damning. But then on top of that, nobody knew if he was wandering off on purpose. They thought that he was taken prisoner, and so they risked their lives, and people went out and died trying to find this piece of shit. And then we traded with them and gave them back multiple individuals to the fucking Taliban or Al Qaeda, whoever it was. I think it's a Taliban, and took this motherfucker back. We should just let them keep him. And then on top of that, now he gets back and he's a fucking free man. This motherfucker, I'm trying to restrain myself.
And those terrorists that we gave back ended up performing more acts of terror.
Killed more, yeah, because you're absolutely fucking right. More Americans died afterwards because as a result of that.
Yep.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, this is why, by the way, I have been trying to get a book done for a while. It's the follow-up to the bestseller Code Word Geronimo that I did for IDW. And even though I'm done with IDW, I think they're done with me. It's a better way of phrasing that, because
they're almost done completely.
They're in trouble financially. I've got friends over there, but I think they're afraid of working with me because I'm outspoken politically and I don't give a shit. I was raised by Chuck Dixon. Yeah. No, he wasn't. But Chuck Dixon cost me a job. Marvel was going to hire me until it was found out. And then they didn't hire me. They were talking to me, like calls, emails, and then all of a sudden, dead silence, all because of fucking Chuck Dixon. So I wouldn't mind becoming more and more political on some things. I don't mind it at all. We just got to be diplomatic in how we say things.
You should come on Knife Hands. You can definitely open up all you want on there. So here's another fact of looking at this article from Washington Examiner. The 5 Taliban that we traded back to the Taliban were also named to key roles in Taliban's new government following the U.S. military withdrawal in Afghanistan. So yay.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
By the way, Ariel Ballet is here. And she's another good audience member that we have gained. And we're very thankful for all of you. We are.
Welcome.
Very grateful. And so I hope everybody's enjoying Adam as my new co-host on this show. He's a more contemporary veteran like me. I'm 30 years since I served. Well, almost. I mean, I went in like in 1990 and I got out in 98. And you served during the Second Gulf War.
Global War and Terror time period. I joined in 2000, so a little less than a year before 9/11 kicked off. So we had no wars going on. The USS Cole got bombed while I was in basic training, and so of course the drill sergeants tried to hype that up. Okay, everybody take this more serious because we're going to war. That never happened. But just a little while into my time with the 173rd in Italy, all of a sudden 9/11 happens, and of all times, also we were doing training in Grafenwehr, Germany, getting ready to go do war simulations. So the entire brigade was assembled. We had all of our gear, our weapons, everything's ready to go. And we're like, wait, the 173rd is a quick reaction force for Europe. We're definitely going to go to Afghanistan. This, by the way? Well, this is 2001 when 9/11 kicked off. Okay. So we were 100%. We're like, okay, we're definitely going to war. Now, 3 days later, we were in the box for CMTC, spent 2 weeks there, trained, had no clue what the fuck was going on in the real world. Our OC observer controller brought a newspaper out to us to let us know what was going on with Afghanistan. Wasn't until 2 years later in 2003 when we finally got shipped off to go for the invasion of Iraq. And the reason for that was because the unit, the 173rd, had only been reactivated for about a year. They reactivated in 2000. They were still building the unit up. So afterwards, I realized that's why we did not go. By 2003, we were fully assembled, well-trained, and ready to go. And that's why I sent us to Iraq instead. So, but yeah, that's the beginning of my career, though. I mean, it was, right off the bat, to go from absolutely nothing to the entire world is on fucking fire with global war on terror in, blink of an eye. Crazy.
What was your MOS?
So I started off, I know that when you say grunt, there's something infantry guys do not like to say. That they like to say only infantry are grunts, and then there are ones who like to say, yeah, but we really like our medics, so we're going to call medics grunts. Here's the thing: is that my 3 years I spent in infantry long range surveillance detachment. However, I was not infantry. I was what's called a ground surveillance systems operator, which is a part of military intelligence. However, the dumbest part of military intelligence. We were the only all-male MOS for intel. Our entire specialty involved carrying 120 pounds worth of gear on our backs and then digging a hole in the ground and then sitting and watching the enemy, which is why we fit in from time to time in infantry long-range surveillance attachments, which in this case, that's where they put us. We were the only GSR team in all of Italy, and they stuck us in there. And when we went to Iraq, I think we did like 2 surveillance operations, and then everything else was just our detachment got assigned because this is just how things worked out in the invasion of Iraq, especially with the 173rd. We were in charge of an entire region up there all by ourselves, this one brigade. So they tasked out everyone, even our artillery battery got assigned on a fob to do patrols. So our Lurs detachment, we were assigned to a small town called Dibis, and we just did a regular rotation of patrols, police backup, QRF detail, and we were just the 7th Lurs team. So all I did was my entire time was infantry shit, man. I mean, I will never try to say I was infantry. I was basically infantry, nothing like that. I did infantry shit, but I was a ground surveillance systems operator.
Yeah, that's just a specialized skill. You're still a grunt.
I mean, my entire career was carrying a fucking rucksack on my back, so it does piss me off if anyone tries to ever call me a pogue. I'm like, fuck you, man. I was never sitting behind a fucking desk day in my
pogues don't go outside the wire. You
no.
know? And if you went outside the wire, you're not a fucking pogue, or as we call them in modern military, fobbits. You know, fobbits sit in the fob and never leave.
Yeah, I will say that
rear echelon motherfuckers.
Yeah, I will say that, I mean, I was in for 9 years, and the last half of my career, my MOS went away because it was obsolete. It was a Vietnam era.
My MOS did too. It changed from 91 Bravo to 68 Whiskey.
But what, as medic?
Yeah. Because now
but I mean, my specialty went away. Like yeah, all the MOS codes changed. Like 96 was all MI, and now they're like somewhere in the 30s, I think.
91 Bravo is different today. What is that one now? Hold on, let me go look at 91 Bravo.
Yeah, they actually got rid of my specialty altogether because we were obsolete now. Drone technology, satellite surveillance, and all that. So I had to change my specialty.
Vehicle mechanic is the 91 Bravo now.
Yeah, the entire thing changed. There's only a few that didn't really change around. Obviously, 11 Bravo is still infantry. 18 series is still special forces. I think 13 is still artillery. But a lot of the support elements changed around, though, for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I've got some starred comments.
Patriarchy.
Patriarchy.
Yep.
Let's see. Joe says, Bergdahl is a deserter in the war zone. He should be in Leavenworth. Or shot.
100%.
Or shot.
Yeah.
You know, we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
I'm against capital punishment, but that shit's unacceptable.
He's a deserter and he got people killed. Yeah, he deserves it.
Cough, McCain, cough. I'm not a McCain fan. I have only once in my life, registered as a Republican. That's when I was in Arizona, just so I could get him voted out from the primaries. Because you can't vote in the primaries unless you're in either Democrat or Republican Party, and you can only vote for that party. So I voted against him. I've wanted to get that guy out. He is a scumbag politically. He's corrupt. And how can you even hold your head up as a veteran when you are pretty much the head of that state for the VA? And Arizona's VA is the worst in the United States.
I spent just about 5 months in the Phoenix, Arizona area VA system, and I could not believe that it really was as bad as everyone says it is. It's terrible.
Bad. Yeah, it's bad.
See, that should be the first people we take care of as veterans.
Absolutely.
And it's just like
last.
Yeah, and
I know I've known some civilians who got pissed at me when I said, "Look, man, they need to do away with the VA program and set it up to where VA veterans get to go to the front of the fucking line at whatever medical clinic is there. You know, they have that card, and that card gets them to the front of the line. And a bunch of people get in front of us. I'm like, look, man, some people sacrifice for this country. I'm not trying to tell you you're not worth your medical help. They're just worth treating first. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
And by the way, if anybody wants to have free health care provided by the government, look how the VA works.
It doesn't work.
It
doesn't work, and that's why socialized medicine will never work. By the way, Ram Bam says Pop Culture Minefield CMTC, and the only CMTC I remember is the civilian military training corps that was put on by the U.S. Army during World War I and just after World War I. They stopped it in the 20s. I'm not sure what you mean by CMT.
No, that was what I was talking about. So CMT, and actually I had that back. So Hohensfels is where we're at for CMTC. That's the Combat Maneuver Training Center, and they've actually changed it. So it's
a different acronym.
Yeah, every train center, like, you know, is the one at fucking in the swamp in Louisiana, Fort Polk. They've got a different name for it. JRTC, I think JRTC is the one at Polk.
Junior
and
Roxy, yeah.
No, that's JROTC. The JR.
Oh, JRTC is the okay. I know what you're
It's
talking
like Joint Readiness. I think Joint Readiness Training Center.
Yeah.
Oh no, that okay, but yeah, the one in Hohenfels got changed to something like that too because it's fucking bureaucracy. They just have fancy names for the fucking shit. I don't know why they changed it.
Yeah,
or what they changed to.
You got people whose job it is to come up with names for shit. That's what it is.
But yeah, the CMTC is just it's a large. We called it the box because it's a large forest and also different terrain area to simulate a battle zone. So our entire brigade would go in there against op 4 opposing forces, an entire unit that's all just
like for me that I would refer to that as a controlled military training situation.
Yeah,
because doing that, having it's sort of like when we go out on FTX, you know.
Well,
I'm sure you've been out.
Yeah,
it's controlled.
When like a CMTC or a JRTC is a very large, elaborate FTX where you are really simulating a real military. You know, you've got your headquarters set up.
The people who call in the fire missions and air support. That's what their primary function is, as I recall. JRTC is they're in charge of bringing shit in to.
Oh no, you're thinking of JTACs. JTACs.
Or is that it? JTAC. JTAC.
Yeah,
that is what I'm thinking.
Joint Tactical Air Control. Yeah, Joint Tactical Air Control is one, and then there's also TAC-P, Tactical. Yeah, in any case, yeah, there are people who will be assigned to some sort of grunt element, whether it's an infantry team, special operations team, and yeah, they coordinate the air.
And they actually have it on their uniform. It says what they are.
Yeah, they'll have a JTAC or TAC-P on their arm. Yep.
And so that's where you go to get air support.
Yep, they're some of the grunts of the Air Force. They are really cool dudes, but. We when I was in Iraq in 2003, we actually asked we had some JTAC guys out there. We're like, hey, we're gonna go out on a mission. You guys want to come with us? Because we had no problem going out the wire. And like, go out the wire if we don't have to. Fuck no. Fine, Air Force, stay here.
It's a choice. But I gotta find this real quick for you because this one makes me giggle every time I show it that I did this meme. Because first of all, the photograph was perfect. For the joke that I made. And of course, the joke is true all the way up until 2007. And in 2007, everything changed for the Air Force in the ground war with Afghanistan and Iraq. Because up until 2007, let me find it real quick because I don't want to give the joke away. Here we go. There we go. I found it. Open imaging tab, enlarge. Boop, 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 make bigger. Boop. There we go. Share screen. And I think you'll find this funny. Present share screen. Even my son, who was in the Air Force, found it funny. There you go. My little boy who served in the Air Force laughed when he read that. There you go.
I've seen that one. That's hilarious.
You don't know how to do an 8-digit grid coordinate. It's not my fault. We're Air Force. Yeah. No, this is true.
And until 2007, it was true. Now, since 2007, because they've been on the ground so much in Afghanistan and Iraq, they are finally being trained how to do grid coordinates to call in fire missions and air support. Because you got to know how to do that. You got to know how to shoot a back azimuth. Just so much you have to learn in the military.
Hey, Mr. Marines, Tickle Trunk.
Hey, Tickle Trunk. What's up, my friend? Oh, can anybody see what it is?
Yeah, it's Shiba Itsu doing the heart, squeezing
heart. Oh, the heart thing. Yes, he likes to use that one. It's great. Thank you.
Much love to you, Tickle Trunk.
You and so many of the other guys, man, you support this channel in a way that's just so deeply appreciated, dude.
Yeah.
And you, Darius Munchausen, my God, so many people. Christian. Oh my God, Christian. I swear to God, man. The more he drinks, the more he throws money at us like strippers. He just starts like $5 asking questions that he could just ask anyway. You know, he just does it because he wants to support the channel. And I do laugh. I said, do I need to start dancing on a stripper pole?
No, please, no.
He's throwing a lot of 5s and 1s at me.
I will drop a super chat to make you not, please.
Yeah. I'd rather not be scarred for life. Thank you.
No, you're part of this channel, so therefore you're going to be scarred. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This is perfect. No, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. It was the wrong one. I found a Family Guy one, and it's not the one I wanted. But fuck it. I'll do it. Here we go.
This evening is ruined. Look, wait, what? This evening is ruined. The whole evening is ruined. Why are you saying it like that? Saying what? I'm just pointing out the party's ruined. You know what? I'm not going to get sucked into this.
Oh, you're so observant, aren't you? Are you a detective?
what are you going to make me do? Whack a guy, off a guy, whack off a guy because I'm married?
Silence.
Hey!
Praising.
Stop it.
Praising.
Now, some sort of war between us. And I keep forgetting that.
Ma, I'm doing a show.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
That's one of my favorite moments in movie history is when he yells that. He goes, all right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. This is a Remington, I can't remember what the make of it is. This baby is made in Grand Rapids, Michigan, sells at S-Mart for $79.75. That's right. Shop smart. Shop S-Mart. You got that? I was friends with Bruce for years. And I just, I hated even telling him because he's got such an ego, how much I enjoyed him in that movie. Army of Darkness is so fucking funny.
I love that movie.
I see. Joe's they changed Fort Polk. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're going to go about doing this a lot now.
Well, I've done entire. I did my very first. I'm going to do more of these. Call it the Woke Warrior News, and I did an entire episode on that, going over all the different military base changes. And I might have just forgot about Fort Polk, but it's the only one that a lot of Army vets seem to support is they changed Fort Benning to Fort Moore. But nobody.
Hal Moore, hell yeah.
But people don't realize they didn't just change for Hal Moore. They changed it for Hal Moore and his wife because it wasn't enough to change it to Hal Moore. They had to, because of all the woke shit, they had to include a woman in that. Almost every single base change they've done to is in the name because someone was the very first black this or the first black that or the first Hispanic this. So they couldn't just give us one and change it to name as Hal Moore, but they had to change it for his wife as well. So fuck you.
Wait until we finally get a Fort Lynch.
Oh shit.
Demonetized.
Oh yeah,
No. He knows what I'm talking about. I don't think you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jessica Lynch.
Jessica fucking
I'm
Lynch.
a soldier too.
No,
dude, I even remember when all that shit went down. Everyone knew that story was bullshit. They tried to make her come off.
They made a fucking movie about it. It's a lie.
I didn't realize there was a fucking movie. No, we all like Army Times, Military Times, Stars and Stripes newspaper. They all wrote these fucking articles saying that she unloaded her magazine and she did all this shit. No, the fuck she didn't. Her fucking weapon malfunctioned right at the back because she didn't even inspect it to make sure it fucking worked right.
The female that was with her in that group, she did. She fought and emptied her weapon, and but Lynch did not. And,
Lynch didn't do shit.
So
again, I feel bad for her. I'm sure that was a terrible, traumatizing experience, but she was not prepared. She was no fucking war hero. When I say fuck you, that's fuck you to all the propagandist bullshit out there that tries to hype her up.
Yeah. Oh, I concur. And I don't despise her or dislike her in any way. I respect her because she served in Iraq, active duty, and she deserves that admiration. But making up lies about people, because look, I'm going to tell you, I brought up the Battle for Mosul that my buddy John Andrews was in, right? Mm-hmm. That story that came out through AP News was a lie. That's not what they told happened. Isn't what happened. They said, all the news published this shit, said that the Americans held the street, and the Iraqi National Guard, trained by our special forces, went in and cleared the mosque and the police station. Absolute fucking lie. It's not what happened at all. What happened was the 72nd Stryker Brigade, made up of the 2nd Infantry Division, they were the soldiers on board the Strykers, went in there for 8 hours And when you go 8 hours of battle, that means there's probably about an hour of firing, and the rest is sitting around going, are they still there? Somebody stick your head up and see if they'll shoot at you, which is what they would do. And once they knew that they're still in the mosque, they eventually worked their way slowly up the street and got there between them, and then breached the police station first and cleared it. A lot of blood there. None of it was the Iraqi police. They fled. They wouldn't come back. They were terrified. No Iraqi National Guard during any of this. And do
you mean Republican Guard?
No, the Iraqi, they had their own National Guard.
Okay,
after the army was broken up. And
I just wanted to
train them. We trained these new guys.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And they were terrible. They would, I swear to God, this is how they did it. They would send in a flashbang and then breach and just spray and pray. That's how they would breach. They didn't follow any of our training, which is you don't spray and pray. You go in and each person has a corner that they're in charge of as they breach. The number 1 man, number 2 man, number 3 man, number 4 man, even number 5 man in a stack. Because I did CQB training. You know, I was a medic, but I was still infantry with those guys, and I did my job. And I got to tell you, man, these Iraqi National Guard, the Americans had already cleared the mosque. They were trying to beat those fucking webheads in the military that are just caught up on diplomacy and politics. We're telling them that they needed to put shit on their boots when they went into the mosque. And the military is like, we don't have to do that. It's not like a church. The ground isn't sovereign or sacred. It's not. A mosque is different than a church. It's just a place where they kneel. Where the kneeling is it's like you don't even understand Islam, and you're telling us we need to put booties on our fucking combat boots. Yeah. This is what was happening. So they went in and breached and cleared the fucking place. They found again blood, no bodies. Now this isn't because the what do you call them? The insurgents cared about their dead. No, they did that because they wanted to hide their numbers. Wanted to hide the numbers that were killed and the numbers that were there. So you would find brains, blood, body parts, chunks of it, not big parts, and that was it. You wouldn't find a whole body of an insurgent. And they were, they kept having orders for weapons tight. This is a battle. They kept getting orders for weapons tight. It was ridiculous. They had to ask permission twice, by the way, to fire a tow missile because that's all they had. They had a tow, they had a tow on one of the strikers. So they got permission to fire it. The first one, this is so fucking funny. I wrote it in the script, City of Fire. And the tow fires up, it drops, and then it launches, right? We know how tows work. What happens is it goes up, it drops, it hits the ground, and then just goes flying across the ground underneath a Volkswagen Beetle parked on the street. It doesn't explode. It doesn't explode. It's just in there. And they're like, misfired.
Well, it's not supposed to do that.
Yeah, it's someone's gonna have to tell the owner of that car if they're alive that their car is don't drive it. Don't get in it right now until we clear that. So they had to wait, and it took them almost an hour to get permission to fire another tow. Finally, and I got the video footage of this. I do have the video footage of this when that tow hit that minaret on top of that mosque, and you can actually see somebody falling out the backside of that minaret. One of the sniper that was up there. So they tagged him good, blew him out of the fucking spire. Fell to his death. He wasn't killed in the explosion. But that's all they had. They didn't have any other kind of rockets. All they had was that one tow. So they could fire tow rockets from it. They had 2 on them. Thank God the second one worked.
Didn't some of the Iraqi National Guard go over to the insurgent side and was giving...
You couldn't trust them after 2004. It became a real problem after 2004.
Yeah, and a lot of times they were insurgents just pretending. They'll be wearing a copy uniform or National Guard. And
I got to say though, that was our government's fault because we broke up the military. When we did that, we helped beef up the insurgency because at that point the insurgency was Syrians and Iranians. Yeah, they're not from Iraq. Now we had Iraqi insurgents joining, because they needed money. They needed that job in the military. That's why they were there. We needed that, and they needed the police jobs. And what sucks is about on June 24th, 2004, that there were lines reported around the country that went around the block for police jobs. It's because we had just shut down their military. So they're trying to get cop jobs. And the insurgency changed tactics. This was the Tet Offensive of the Iraq War. It really is. They tried to change tactics. And instead of attacking us or those with the other countries that were fighting, they attacked the citizenry of Iraq. And they set off multiple 500-pound car bombs around the country. And it caused everything to shut down. All the FOBs were in lockdown. Everybody was in lockdown. Only one group went out, the 72nd Stryker Brigade with the 2nd Infantry Division on board. They were the only ones who went out that day, and they took the mosque and they took the police station back from the insurgents. They killed people, but they had no body count because they took the bodies with them. And I fudged a couple of things in the script, my script. One of them was when I took an incident that took place that day, but I sexed it up a little bit because a guy, it's really kind of funny. You'll know what I'm talking about. You ever been on a mall deuce?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how awesome they are. That butterfly trigger, you just rest and you're kind of chill. Your hands are gripped and you're just all chill sitting on that thing with your thumbs already in the firing position. Whether you're wanting to or not, that's where your thumbs go. Right there on top of that trigger. So this guy is in the very last striker. And it's the only striker that doesn't have the automated 50 mounted on top. That's controlled by a guy down below on a screen. Okay. And so this guy is sitting on the only striker with a mounted Ma Deuce. Okay. So he's sitting there just chilling. His 50 aims straight down this alleyway. And he told me that, he says, all of a sudden this insurgent jumped out. And he says it looked cartoonish because he went up in the air and landed, like jumped in the air and landed with an RPG on his shoulder. And the funny part is he literally landed in my sights on the 50. All I had to do was depress once. He says I hit him with one round and the guy evaporated. And I wrote it. But what I did to sex it up is I had the RPG fire and it skims right over the top of the striker next to it. That's all I sexed up in it because I'm like, I got to add some excitement to this. Just killing the guy is not enough. I had to have that RPG zip right past him. That's still a cool way to kill a guy. Yeah. So, I mean, the guy was intending to shoot him. Right. But he leapt like that, like cartoon, like leapt and landed right in his sights. And he just went, boom. Just blew the guy apart. That's amazing. But Colby Bazell, who is also in that unit, there's an animated video of his. It's great animation, by the way, that shows the same thing that happened that day. They're on another QRF, and they got ambushed during this QRF mission. And all of a sudden, man, you know that voice on the FBCB2 system, the female voice, enemy in area. Enemy in area, enemy in area. That real sensitive, soft voice. Have you ever heard it? You saying the FBC? What was that? Was that again? FBCB2. I haven't heard that since 06. We did have one of those. It's the identify friend or foe system essentially. Yeah. So that every striker had them, and Colby talked about it, and Ernie talked about it. Blue Force Tracker. That's what they call it. Blue Force Tracker. Blue Force Tracker. And that, he said, it gets unnerving because what ends up happening is like an aliens moment where there suddenly like thousands of aliens coming at him. He says, we're sitting there and every single time an enemy is identified on the system, the little voice goes, enemy in area. And then it's a sweet woman's voice, enemy in area, enemy in, and all of a sudden it's talking over itself. And it's just keeps doing this layers of enemy, like it's hiccuping. And it's just, he says, it's really unnerving when it happens. That there are that many alerts on that machine telling you, you're fucking surrounded. And it happened twice to him. It happened during that ambush with Colby Bazell, and Colby Bazell again with Ernie and John when they went into Mosul on June 24th of 2004. and it started doing the same fucking thing. And they're like, we are fucking, there's a lot of people out there with weapons. And it's crazy shit. But like I said, it was an 8-hour battle. Only an hour of it was actual combat, intermittent combat throughout the day. Might have been an hour and a half. But the fact is mostly sitting around like wondering if they're still there. Until finally they took them off, they took the police station, and then they were ordered to withdraw from the building. And they're like, why? And they said, we're going to send in the Iraqi National Guard. He goes, but we've already cleared it. And they did it for publicity reasons because NPR and the AP were there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all for publicity. So the National Guard was sitting in there, flashbanging and going into rooms, spraying and praying, and just looking like idiots. Who fucking breaches like that? Some of our training in CQB, I don't know if did you ever do CQB training?
We did. I mean, we didn't, again, because we were specifically for surveillance and reconnaissance. It wasn't until we were getting ready to go to Iraq and we knew we were going to do a lot of more urban type environments. So we did train
really
quite a bit on that.
Afghanistan is different. Iraq is urban combat.
Yeah, and again, it depends on what area you're at also, because we did have a lot of rural area up in the northern Iraq area when I was out there. So like I said, we did have some surveillance operations to monitor some of these areas. But yeah, we ended up training, and I had a breach a couple of times, and I'm just thankful that nothing ever happened. But it is a terrifying experience when you're going through and going into a door and you have no idea what's on the other side of that.
Your hope is that you surprise and shock them so much that they're not quick on their weapon.
Yeah, we had one. We weren't even on a mission. We were actually just going from our FOB to our main base for something. I think we were just dropping off somebody to go on, of all things, to go on R&R, and then we started taking fire from this compound that was off to our right. And so we went up, and sure enough, there's dudes on this fucking. We had no idea what the situation was. All we knew is we were hearing rounds going over our head, and so we came to a stop when we went there, and we had dudes up on this fucking roof, and we managed to get them down, and the building they were in. Once we had them secured, then we went into the building, and this is a situation. You're like, okay, we already took fire, so we know there's got to be somebody in there, and that's fucking terrifying, man. It really is. And thankfully, the two dudes that were up on the fucking roof were the only ones, and they're just a couple fucking idiots. But it's nerve. Of all things, too, this is actually my first time I ever saw a black scorpion, a gigantic black scorpion. I was the rear man. on the row, and I'm like, of all things, I tapped the dude. I'm like, okay, go, because I'm looking at this fucking scorpion. I thought it was gonna sting me. Like, I don't care what's on the other side of this now. Just go, get me away from this fucking scorpion.
Oh man, those things can scare the shit out of you. And it all depends on the size of the end of their tail. The smaller the tip.
The small light brown ones, the deadly ones. Yeah, the big black ones just hurt like hell. They won't actually kill you, but they're terrifying looking though.
Yeah, those are emperor scorpions.
Emperor scorpion. Yep. They are scary shit looking, but yeah, they won't actually kill. I was scared as fuck at that time.
Here in Missouri, by the way, a lot of people don't know that we have scorpions here.
Yeah, we got little light brown.
Yeah, the little light brown ones are tiny, and they will sting the shit out of you. In Arizona, by the way, an interesting story happened to a friend of mine, Tracy. She is diabetic, and she was in her shower down in Phoenix on the south side. She was down past Tempe, and she lived in a kind of a ranch, what do you call it, adobe style ranch house. And she was in her bathtub, and a scorpion fell in with her and stung her in the shower. And she had severe neuropathy in her legs. And after she got stung by that scorpion, even though she had to be hospitalized afterward, the neuropathy went away.
Oh, she got lucky.
Somehow the neuropathy, the damage to the nerves, was somehow subverted by the toxin in the venom of the stinger. I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. I need to go get stung by a scorpion myself because I got really bad neuropathy. But Vickers, I see these. We got a bunch of ones. I'm starring these guys. These comments, so I can go back to them. Let's go back to them because we got 20 minutes? 17 minutes. We got Ram Bam asked this great question right here. Fobbit, is that a subspecies of hobbit? The name comes from hobbit,
Yeah.
And it's a joke against the nerds that don't leave the fob, that live at the fob and never go outside the wire. So they call them fobbits.
We had some guys in our commo section who were just like one of the things is 31 Charlie was also called 31 colorblind because it's a specialty that is like the closest thing. You get the closest thing to combat because you can get assigned to an infantry unit, but you can't be infantry because you're colorblind. So we had some dudes in there who were 31 Charlies, but they were fucking badass. They were begging any opportunity to go on a fucking convoy, go outside the wire. Yeah, they want because they wanted to be infantry. They couldn't because they were fucking colorblind.
Just remember their uniform is green. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? What color? Oh shit. What color is green to me? Red. All male intel team sounds like some patriarchy stuff. There we go.
Yeah, we were really hated. Actually, we did get what's so fun. So here's something funny is that when we went through intel training at Fort Huachuca, they would pick on the 96 Bravos, the intel analyst guys would pick on us and call us grunts. And then I went over to an infantry unit and I got picked on for being intel and called a pogue. I'm like, I can't fucking win anywhere. What the fuck is with this shit?
I have a question for you. Because one of the senior instructors, he was a CW5, is this guy. He's out now. This is my childhood best friend. And he served at Fort Huachuca for, 30 years, man. 30 years he was there as one of the lead instructors.
Oh, yeah, that was our senior drill sergeant. No.
Well, he was one of the senior instructors there, and I was just curious if you ever met him because he trains a lot of people.
I wouldn't know, dude. Yeah. I mean, if
that's him when he shaves.
Yeah.
There he is. That's what he looked like in the Army right there.
If he was an instructor, I mean, I don't know if I'd even recognize my instructors, but yeah, if they weren't 96 Romeo, I wouldn't be able to tell. You got to remember, like you think about the hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of troops who are training there at a time for all the different MI specialties. At any single time in a class for 96 Romeo, we were a platoon size element. That's how small 96 Romeo specialty was.
I want you to look at all the fucking ribbons on his.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's a high ranking officer. Or did you say he was a chief?
Chief Warrant Officer 5.
Yeah, I can see the bar on there. Yeah, I see that MI emblem on his chest.
And he did serve in combat. He's very wounded.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of scars. This is us at a movie theater. This is me at 650 right there.
At 650? Oh, wait. Yeah, weight wise. Yeah. Oh,
we would see a 3D movie together. Jim, his little boy Joey, and my daughter Zoe.
Okay.
And my daughter fell in love with Jim. She goes, I see why he's your best friend. I said, yeah, now you get it. He is an asshole.
Yeah, ask him sometime if he remembers what about the 96 Romeos. I'm sure he'll tell you some stories. We were infamous, if anything.
There's a picture that I was hoping would be in here where he's got an actual katana chasing his dog with it. Yep, here it is. I took that photo at his house. This is at Fort Huachuca. Bogart had done some goofy shit, and he says, "That's it, Bogart." Stink. Throws the scabbard and starts chasing through the house with a katana. Yeah, you have a rapier.
It's my NCO sword.
Oh, seriously?
Uh-huh.
That's your dress sword?
Yep.
Look at you fancy motherfucker.
We were joking around the last show I was on. That's why I have it sitting right here.
There is my daughter Zoe wearing an M1 helmet.
Nice.
She's drinking a Foster's. No, I was drinking Foster's. There's a Foster's in front of her, so it looks like she's drinking
Foster's. Australian for beer.
Yeah. This is something I don't share too often on here. This is one of the many patents that my father made for Mueller's. And they still use this one to this day. It's a self-tapping pipe.
A self-tapping pipe?
Self-tapping pipe that pulls the shavings out as it drills in.
Oh, ain't that fancy?
Yeah, my dad invented that.
Nice.
Cool.
By the way, we haven't got much into the nerd shit. I can assure everyone out there, I am in fact a nerd. I just want to assure everyone I am a nerd. I love seeing the Star Trek stuff on there. I'm a big time Star Trek nerd.
That's my best friend Ultra Rob's mouth on Ultraman. So I just called it Ultra Rob.
That is creepy.
Oh man. I'm looking to see if there's any good pictures here from stuff we share. Like the combat medic one's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been wanting to dig through my my photo box and start uploading some stuff to share online.
Now, this is the girl I talk about every once in a while. You'll hear me. This is Bill, the little brother. That's Jim. And that's Leslie, the middle sister. And she was just my little sister, just somebody I knew. I've had dinner with her. She served me many times at Chick-fil-A when she was 16. And she ended up marrying Robert fucking Evans, the executive producer guy that ran the studios at Paramount, made The Godfather love story. One of the greatest movie producers of all time.
No
and
shit.
Studio execs. She married that man. She's
yeah. Wow.
He died while married to her. So now she doesn't talk to any of us. You know, not even her brother's Jim, like, unless they're home. She won't, like, she got too kind of full of herself. And I was like, oh, well, sad. And there's another good picture of her and Jim. We used to all go to DC every weekend as a group, the whole family, because they were my second family. I pretty much lived at their house. They fed me. I always called their mom. But,
that's awesome.
But Jim's the only one that served in that family. And then I went in right after him. Mike Beatty was in before both of us, and he's our other mutual best friend. He went in first, and he was Ranger all the way. And then Jim went in and went Army Intel, or technically counterintelligence.
Okay.
He spies on us for us. And,
I figured there had to be a reason why he got all the Purple Heart and all that other combat shit on there.
Yeah, he
wasn't no desk jockey.
No, he was not a desk jockey. He would disappear for periods. He would leave for a month, 2 months, and we wouldn't hear from him. And then he'd pop back up, and he'd have a new wound from either straight up combat, or he ended up in a situation where he was in close quarter combat, hand to hand. And he was doing some really serious shit. And I love the way he said it one day. I kill people for us. Really personal like. It's not like shooting them at 100 yards. I get up and let them know me before I kill them.
That's the direction my old team leader went when they got rid of my 96 Romeo specialty. He went to counter intel. I kind of wish I would have done that. Went in PSYOP instead.
I had that chance. He would have been my instructor. If I had done it, he would have been my boss. And I decided I can't do that. I can't do that. Yeah. I can't have him my boss. Some more of these. Can't believe the changed name from the fort my father served as a drill sergeant at.
Probably Fort Benning, I would assume.
Yes. Match it, Adam. They just changed the name of the post near the town I was born in to Fort Johnson. So it's named after a penis. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a joke.
They called Polk Little Vietnam for years. Just stupid. Well, Leonard Wood is still called Fort Lost in the Woods. Yeah, and we actually lost the guy. We lost the guy in that forced march I told you about. He took off. No, it was not the forced march. We were going for our first day at the shooting range, and we had to march all the way out there. And he stopped to take a piss and saw that we went around a bend, so he was going to cut through the fucking woods to meet up with us. He ended up being found on the shooting range. They had to shut down all the shooting ranges because they're afraid he was going to he would get killed.
Fucking dumbass.
Oh yeah.
See, Monkey Jeebus is here.
Oh no, Monkey Jeebus is here. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Monkey Jeebus?
Yes, you get taught 8-digit word coordinates when you learn to read British OS maps. Not surprised. We're taught that stuff in basic training. We were taught to do a back azimuth in basic training. We were taught everything you needed to know to stay alive with a compass.
I learned that shit in ROTC. I was on the orienteering team. So when I got in the real military, I was a fucking land navigation master.
Darius Munchausen with the Gary on a stripper pole. Oh my God. Yeah, not good. Not good. What did his wife ever do? She ever hump a pack in M16 in the
Probably talking about how. So yeah, the thing is, like, if you ever saw the movie We Were Soldiers once, she was Hal Moore's wife was a big part of like
group.
Yeah,
of
she was a
women.
big part of like coordinating the wives to help out with all the, the loss of the soldiers and all that. There was a lot she did, but no, the military base needs to be named after just him. Recognize her. Go ahead, you can put something else on, put a monument to her, but don't name the entire base after her. Just
I
leave
have a
Hal
problem
Moore.
with even names of ships and such being named after non-naval people. I just like don't do that.
Yeah.
Jessica overrated as fuck Lynch. There you go.
Well, except for presidents.
Well, she's come out and said that she didn't want that attention.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was thrust upon her like a giant, veiny, camouflage penis.
Way more descriptive than necessary.
Yeah.
Stick a helmet up on a stick and see if anyone shoots at it. Did you see that recent video from Ukrainians doing that shit?
No.
They were putting a uniform top and headgear on the end of this broom, and they would stick it around the corner, and you could see it getting hit. And they're just laughing at the camera, and they'd stick it back on and wag it.
That's like, an old school shit. I know people still did that.
I'm like, you were in combat too long when you start doing shit like that.
Yeah,
that's some Looney Tune shit, is what.
Yeah, you are out of your fucking mind at that point. See, so let me get to the next one here. Where's my? There we go. Geez, it sounds like Vietnam when the ARVN and the VC were intertwined. Well, it was, and a lot of people don't. You're talking to a leftist idiot when you hear them bring up the Tet Offensive and how we lost. We didn't lose a shitting thing during the Tet Offensive. In fact, we ended the Viet Cong. We ended them. We killed them. We killed so many of them. VC didn't exist anymore. They were no more in the fight. It was the North Vietnamese Army, NVA. That was it. After 1968, that's all we fought. So, but you won't hear anybody from the left ever say that.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking idiots and they don't know their history. Thanks for that mention there, Ram Bam. Let's see, like a Vickers gun. Not a fan of the Vickers. My grandfather was, he was a cannoneer. He was artillery, my grandfather, World War I. And he got shipped over on a ship that didn't even have a gun. So they mounted their howitzers on the deck and tied them down. Yeah, they tied them down.
Holy shit.
They ended up seeing something off the starboard side. And no, it was the port side. It was the port side. So they looked out, saw this something. They thought it was a submarine, German sub. They've been having problems with German subs. So they rotated the howitzers around and started firing for effect and then zeroed in on it. And they finally hit it. And it blew up in a bloody, gory fucking explosion of chunks. And they realized, oh shit, that was a whale, not a submarine. A fucking humpback whale. And what they could gather, they actually went and they gathered some of it and they cut it up and ate it.
Nice. Let's make some use out of it
that evening. So, but he was on a Hotchkiss. He gets over there and they don't have any artillery and they're not officially in the war yet. So he's there for support. And he's like, what are we going to do? What are we doing here? So he ended up in a bastards brigade. And they gathered this together from other Americans. And then they ended up, the first thing they did was at Bella Wood, the Marines needed R&R. They needed to step back to get a breather. So my grandfather's teams went up forward and held the trench. Well, there were no trenches, the ground. They held the ground until the Marines got washed up, ate, and were able to come back. And I remember my grandfather saying, those are the craziest sons of bitches I ever saw. He says, the Marines come walking past us. They got their masks on and the lenses were poked out. So they could see to fire. It was covered and coated in this muddy looking stuff. It was mustard. Mustard gas had coated their fucking masks. And the insane part of that is the fact that without the lenses in, the masks are useless.
Yeah.
The Marines had to see to shoot. So they had to poke the lenses out of either one or both eyes so they could fire. And he says they were crazy. They were crazy.
And just take the mask off. Don't ruin
They deserve that
mask.
name. They deserve that name. Well, they believed they were still getting some use out of it. They really did. They weren't, but their mind convinced them, I'll poke the lens out, I'll still be fine.
That's why they call jar heads.
Well, that is where they got the nickname at Bella Wood from the Germans. They called them the Devil Dogs.
Ah, gotcha.
It was the most intense fighting the Germans ever experienced, was fighting Marines.
You can't call Marines jarheads anymore.
Is that offensive?
No, they found out you could put something in a jar.
I got into a fist fight with Michael Beatty and with a handful of Marines, and they were hanging at the local dance club. And Mike was drunk, and Mike is the sarcastic one in our group. He's far more sarcastic than me. And Mike remembers this night too. We've talked about it, where he just kept fucking with these guys. And there was this moment, because it comes from a comedian named Mike Warnke, who is a Vietnam veteran, former Marine. What do you call it? Well, he wasn't a Marine, he was Navy. He was a Navy hospital corpsman, but he served with a Marine unit.
Okay, yeah, corpsman. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a hospital corpsman. And he had this moment where he's talking about Marines. You know, he says, you yell circle up the wagons and you'll just get a look of confusion from the Marines because they don't know what a wagon is or how to make a circle. And it's a great joke in the comedian's retinue. So we're at this bar, and Mike just keeps fucking with these Marines, and he's just saying shit. And I keep leaning over going, look, man, I kept buying him rounds of beer, apologizing for my friend. I said, I'm so sorry. He's just hammered and he's in a crazy mood tonight. Please ignore him. And I thought they're going to be cool about it. But no, when we got up to leave, because the guy says, I think you need to fucking leave. I said, we're going. I'm going to get him out of here. We'll get him out of your hair, man. I'm sorry. And I walked out with Mike, and as we're walking out, you don't walk out a main door. You walk through a door that goes into the local Pizza Hut, because it's the same owner. He owns the Beehive, the discotheque, and the Pizza Hut. So we had to go through Pizza Hut. And as we're going to the main exit at Pizza Hut, I happened to push the door and look back, and they were all following us. And I'm like, okay, this is a problem. And I went out the door, and I looked back to see if they were coming out, and they came out the door, and they followed us all the way to Michael's truck. And we get to the truck, and I turned around and I said, you don't have to follow us. I'm not going to lie to you. We're really leaving. He says, we're fucking making sure you're out of here, man. And this is when Mike started digging in with the Marine jokes, and he brought up, hey, man, look, I guess it's not true. Marines actually can circle the wagons.
Yeah.
I thought you guys didn't know what a circle was. You're like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, that doesn't help matters any.
And I'm like, Mike, shut up. At this point, the kid that was with us, I don't want to say his name here. I'll say it in private, but I won't say it here on the show. I turned and saw him, and all I could see was him moving very quickly away from us, and his feet slapping his ass as he's running. He is running so fast, his feet are slapping the back of his ass. He is running full sprint away from us. And I went, because I was thinking 3 of us, we can hit. Oh, shit. It's only 2 of us. It's Mike and me. So the only reason we survived that fight was because we were closer to the truck, and it was unlocked, that I was able to get inside and bang a dude's head and arm in the door with that big Ford pickup truck door. Once I shut the door, I yelled, gun it. And we're doing 60 miles an hour before we hit the outlet to the parking lot. We went right over the speed bumps, man, jarring as hell. Got the fuck out of there. But we held those 5 Marines for a full 30 seconds.
That's all you need.
So, but man, oh man, those are good times. We hit the 2-hour and 2 mark. We're down to the last. It's considered pretty disrespectful to wear shoes in a mosque.
But it's not. Get off the door.
It's not important. It's because it's not sacred. They do not consider it sacred ground. It's not.
Pretty disrespectful to shoot people out of the minaret too.
Yeah. So there you go. But you know, when you're fighting, you really shouldn't fucking have to be put in a position of having to care about that stuff. It's just another fucking building you're in. And that's the way it should be treated. If you tell a soldier to have to pay attention to something other than his job, you have gummed up the system. Yeah. Because a soldier isn't. What's that?
03. I mean, Afghanistan, not so much, but when we went to Iraq, that's the first real multimedia war right there, because they actually, there's a lot of cameras around Iraq. Afghanistan is But yeah, it was the most covered fucking news war of all time. You had cameras fucking everywhere. So yeah, everyone was so worried about the public perception and all this shit. And you're tying everyone's hands behind their fucking back on what you can and can't do, and it's mostly just what you can't do. I remember going to, when I was there on my second tour in 05 to 06, the fucking rules of engagement were so ridiculous. There's this list of everything you had to fucking do. If you were in a fucking Humvee and you had a vehicle coming towards you, you had to go through this fucking checklist of like 6 different items before you could finally use fucking deadly force. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the ROE in Iraq was ridiculous. And I told you, in the battle for Mosul, they kept being told by the talk that they were weapons tight. It's like, we can see the enemy that we're just shooting at us.
Mm-hmm.
Weapons tight. And the ROE was just ridiculous. And it's you can't fight a war like that.
No.
Tecumseh Sherman said it very clearly, and we'll end the show here. You cannot win a war unless you're willing to do worse than your enemy.
Yep.
You have to terrify them into surrender.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fight them in a way that they understand.
100%.
Well, they learned the wrong lesson from Vietnam.
Yeah. You're right. We pretty much carried over the same fucking stupid fear from Vietnam era and all the fucking blowback from that, and they carried it into everything we've done since then. And it's not how you fight. It's not. It's just.
I got to tell you, Adam, I'm so glad I have you on now as my partner on this show.
I'm happy to be here, man.
This is fun.
100%.
This is fun. I had a fun time. The 2 hours went by really quickly.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Jiva says, I made a guy get drunk. They dared devil him. He wouldn't throw away his heart medication because he's a pussy. I was a holy shit. This is too easy. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but holy shit. Pat is here. Hi, Pat. What's up, man? USMC takes the mouthpiece out, so it's easier to eat the crayons. There you go. And that's a new thing. I'd never heard that before until this last year. Like, crayons and Marines? What? I don't know what that means.
You never heard of Marines called crayon eaters?
No, I never heard that before.
It's not new.
And I've got a brother who's a Marine, my brother Steven. Never heard that before. This kid said he has extra chromosome, and I was, doesn't that technically make you a chimpanzee? Oh, people make these crazy proclamations about, it's like, there was this funny moment where this little girl the other day was being questioned on a show, and they show a skeleton, and they said, can you tell me anything about the skeleton? She looked at it, said these couple of things, and she said, and I can tell that that's a female because the pelvis is different, because male pelvises and female pelvises are different. And I'm like, no, more biology. She's woke or anti-woke. You better cancel that girl, that little 5-year-old.
She actually knows the difference between a man and a woman.
Yeah, it's how dare you? How dare you?
She's clear transphobe.
Yeah, transphobe. Fucking transphobes. Fucking hate them. Cam. By the way, we need to say bye to Ram Bam because they went to go watch Midnight's Edge. Tom and Andre doing something over there. And I've been invited to join them this weekend, but I have to see a copy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and none of the theaters are going to show a preview before August 1st. Not 22 movie theaters here. None of them are going to have a preview here.
Not even the Alamo?
I checked the Alamo. It does not show it till August 1st.
If I watch that, I will definitely yo-ho-ho it and sail the high seas. I will not pay money for that fucking movie.
Nope. Well, I don't want to, but, I want to be able to join my friends, Tom, Andre, and the guys. I think Script Doctor will be there. I don't get to do Emmy very often because of my time. And they invite me on, and Tom always tells me, man, you pop into the chat, I will send you the invite. And I'm like, I'm always busy. I'm always doing artwork or something. When is the 1st? What day is the 1st? Tuesday.
I don't know.
So if you're seeing it this Saturday, I think that's what Tom is going to do, because that's the preview that people around the country are getting to go see it on Saturday. And Tom's going on Saturday, and when he gets out of the movie, he wants to do a show. And he's afraid he's not going to be able to do our show, which he and I do a show together. And I may have to postpone our show to the next week and skip the rotation in order to join him over on the other one. But I've got to be able to find a copy. It's because if I don't get to see the film, then Keith and I are going to do Saturday morning fun time with one of our things. And but that's cool. You're going to be going to see it. Sorry, I couldn't chat more. Had to listen and do stuff. Don't worry about it, Cam. It's great to see you. I'm so grateful that you guys listen to our shows. And notice something right now? I look like Ozzy Osbourne. Old Ozzy.
Except you're coherent.
Look, no, I was in the rock in the back.
You're way too coherent to be Ozzy Osbourne.
Way too coherent to be Ozzy.
Yeah, I was looking around trying to figure out why it's getting so dark in here so early, and I'm like, oh crap, we got a storm coming.
We're in Missouri, dude. Because
I know.
John's in Missouri too, by the way.
This week has been crazy. I mean, yeah, we went for fucking months with absolutely no rain whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, Mother Nature says, all at once, one whole week, nothing but rain.
I've always felt that Mother Nature might have a dick because she seems to fuck the shit out of Missouri. Just flinging her sperm all over the place. Fuck you, Missouri. It's like the joke here in Missouri has always been: if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we get the lake effect here at Lake of the Ozarks. Everybody likes to claim, and it does seem true. It seems like every damn time, like the weather report says it's going to dump rain on us, all of a sudden the storm just goes up and around the lake, and we get missed. Happens a lot.
There it goes.
Yeah.
No, that's not the one I wanted. Here it is. You do look like Ozzy. Oh, strap-on time. There you go. Mother Nature. Remember those commercials, John, from the 70s?
Yeah.
You don't mess with Mother Nature. Yeah. They're good. What was that? Butter? Yeah, it was the imitation butter, margarine or something. It's like, this is clearly butter. It's not.
It's
Never mess with Mother Nature.
I can't believe it's not butter commercial.
Yep, exactly what it was. It was also during the period that 7-Up commercial had the black dude singer, calypso singer, that do the uncula.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we had the propaganda campaign known as Captain Planet.
Oh my god, that show
had all of us fucking kids thinking we were gonna have acid rain pouring on us and we're all killing the planet. It was nothing but a fucking propaganda campaign. It
was. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Everything is always 10 to 20 years off. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah. Why do you think now my generation is so focused thinking that the planet is dying in 10 years and all this shit? Because we grew up with fucking shit like Captain Planet.
Hey,
I wonder what it was that makes you so gihey. And that's what it is. You're gihey.
Because I watch Captain Planet.
Because you watch Captain Planet.
Boosh is
here. By the way,
what's up, Boosh?
When you're in the Army, did you have this one? Because one of my favorite, and it was so funny, it led to one of my favorite moments. My buddy Mac, the voice at the beginning of the show, the guy who does the intro. We were shopping because we lived together for years, and we went to the store to get some supplies, and I was looking for something, and this is when Walmart really started messing with how they set up their aisles to where it didn't make any sense anymore. Pie filling should be in the baking section, not in another section with fruit. Why is it in the fruit section? That should be in the same thing with anything like any pie filling should be in the baking section. It's ridiculous, dude, the way they've changed things. So we're in the store and I was going aisle by aisle grocery shopping because I'm raising my kid by myself. So I do all the shopping, right? Because I'm the mom and the dad. So Mac is helping me, and Ultra Rob is there too. I remember he was there. And we're all in the store, and Mac knew that something I was looking for was 4 aisles back, that I'd missed it, and didn't say anything. And then finally he says something to me, and I looked at him and I said, why the fuck would you let me know now when we're eight aisles away from all the way at the other end of the store? Why would you tell me that? Because now we got to go backtrack all the way down there and find it when you knew it at the time. Because he's being a dick. And he said this military thing to me that just slayed me, because it was one of those moments that just shut me the fuck up. He says, well, I'm sorry I bruised your fucking pussy. And I went, Really, I am acting like a bitch right now. I really am acting like a bitch. I'm acting like a bitch, and I just chuckled and I went, "Fuck you, you asshole!" And I just laughed and walked away from it.
I'd say the best equivalent we would use more often would be sand in your vagina.
Sand in your vagina is one, but when we're in the military, if somebody got pissy with you, it's like, man, I'm sorry I bruised your pussy, dude.
And say, I'm sorry you have sand in your vagina.
Yeah. So, and that was the other one, sand in the vagina. It's comes from the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think I never heard the bruise your pussy. That's the first.
Really? Because I love that one in the Army. And I'd never had that said to me ever until he said it to me, and it shut me down. And it was hilarious, dude. I laughed. I actually laughed when he did it. I'm like, fuck you, dude. What a great insult. Because that'll happen to me every once in a while. I'll get insulted by somebody that's very clever. Yeah. And I remember one night I was going out on a blind date, and
did she bring the white
my
stick?
buddy Marshall, what?
Did she bring the white stick?
Yeah, sure. And so my buddy Marshall was living with me at the time, staying with me because he was waiting for his house to be finished because it was just being constructed. And so he was hanging out with me, staying with me during the week, and then go home on the weekends, back to Oklahoma. And I was in Lebanon, Missouri. I'm sure you know where that is.
Oh, yeah.
It's right down the road from Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, I lived there for a year before I came up here.
I've described it. Someone says, what's Lebanon like? I said, the line from Star Wars, I said, if there's a bright spot in the universe, it is the furthest point from it.
That's right.
I said, I was afraid to date there because of the fear of incest, because so many people are fucking related there.
Yeah.
Got to get the fuck out of that town. And
it is Boat Town, USA, though. It's the largest boat because they have the tracker boats. Yep.
You've got the other company, and on top of that, you got Walnut Bowls. That's the only industry there.
Yeah, it's the only place where everything that are made by the boats, everything else is also made in Lebanon at the same time. Any other place they outsource to get their items, everything's actually made in Lebanon. That's why it is Boat Town, USA.
The thing I was really proud of is when we got our own Harley dealership. That finally closed during the plague. It ended up closing its doors after 30 years, man. Well, 25 years. Really? Yeah, it's sad. Because I like that place. I like to go. I had a dream of getting me a nice fucking Harley one day.
The one here at the lake survived.
Good. So many places went out of business, man. Our Hollywood Theater right downtown here in Springfield. That was a big theater. A lot of people would see movies there. The Creeping Crud came around. People masked up, and suddenly that place went out of business. And
if only people would just hung around to just survive just another month or so around here at the lake, they would have thrived because everything blew up here at the lake thanks to CNN and TMZ.
Oh yeah,
my property value went up 125% over a couple of months.
Yeah, that's the thing I tell people. This is still an inexpensive place to buy a house in Missouri. You can come and get a house that would cost you $500,000 in any other state. Well, around the lake is different. It's completely different.
Yeah.
But the minute you get into places like Springfield, Lebanon, Rolla, and all those places, you can a house in Virginia where I grew up that would have cost $500,000, $800,000. You can get here for $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
And land is cheap here, depending on where you're at. Of course, the closer you are to the lakes, like you get down to Table Rock Lake, houses start getting expensive again.
Well, and of course,
unlike Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock's man-made. That's a man-made lake.
No, so it's Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was natural.
Yeah, it's made by Bagnell Dam.
Fuck off.
And we have Truman's Truman Dam.
And we get fed. Yeah, we get fed in by Lake Truman. Yeah, Lake Truman feeds into Lake of the Ozarks. We're both man-made lakes. Same thing down there with Table Rock Lake. That's a series of 3 different dams down there.
Yeah, I'm in Sedalia,
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing was to go to Lake of the Ozarks and rent one of the big flatboats. Pontoon boats.
Pontoons.
Uh-huh. I'd rent those. Take everybody I worked with, my friends. We'd jump on those things many times. Just go out there, treading some water, having a good time. Zoe spent most of her child in one of those fucking boats on the weekends. And they're not expensive, man. You put down $200, you get most of that back, plus whatever it costs for the day.
Yep.
So I always had the $200 for the down, the deposit, and then just fucking go out there. Yeah. I miss doing that. I had an idiot one time that told me he knew boating, and I was pulling into a restaurant on a pier, and I was pulling up to the pier, and I'm like, okay, make sure, and he didn't know what he was fucking doing, and I smacked into the pier, did minimal damage, and I'm like, you motherfucker, you know, you told me you knew how to do this shit. Don't say that if you don't. Seriously. You know, I said, if they find that damage, they'll fine me for that.
Yep.
The boat rental people will. I'll have to pay that. I'll never see my money. But thankfully, they didn't notice it because those things are pretty dinged up.
Oh, yeah.
Because most people don't know how to boat. And I grew up on boats. There he is. There's your cousin right there.
Yep. I saw Boosh pop in.
Boosh, you can even see with his avatar there.
I was even going to say, even with that, we would look like.
You guys look like first cousins, man.
Yeah, if I had my.
Somebody's daddy was doing a little fucking in the other side of the family. I say. Someone was canoodling in the other in house.
Canoodling.
So, but anyway, we went over about 19 minutes. I don't care. We're not on KGRA today, so fuck the rules. I never did get a response. I don't. Let me go double check. Oh, finally got a response. Looks like you got a response.
Well, it just turned out we've been on this entire time.
Oh, no response. Just shows that it was read. I'm getting silence from KGRA. I don't know what's going on. I may just pull our shows back to our StreamYard. Because I don't know what's going on. Nobody's talking to me.
Sandy Vagina is a dance club in Miami. It doesn't sound very appealing for the ladies.
I don't think that's real. I just don't believe you, Bush. I don't. But let's see. Let me say thanks to everybody for being here today. I'm glad you popped in at the last minute, Bush. I was wondering if you would make it. Andy Morrow from the UK, thank you so much. Penny, FKHC 2005, aka Tim. VetsTalkin, which is you. Anima Confusa, love of my life. D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, all hail Lord Thoth. Joe's Atmosphere, former military prick. Brandon, the anime guy, a very good friend of mine. And does he know you? Do you know him?
I don't think so. I'm not familiar.
I love Brandon. Brandon's just a sweet guy. Loves his anime. Sheila Aliens, of course. Thanks for being here. I don't think she's here anymore, but thanks for popping in. Shinatsky is here. Let's see. MK Ultra Hiking and Gear Review is here. That is Sheila Alien's boyfriend, who apparently Adam stole one weekend recently.
I made him my bitch.
Pops. Pops was here. Cam's Crash Courses has been listening in. Darius Munchausen. Again, the single safest Munchausen for children. Yeah. Decepticon's Cave of Comics and Toys. By the way, my girlfriend, who's Austrian, hates my German accent. Decepticon's Cave of Comics and Toys. Ariel Ballette was here. Ram Bam 3000 had to leave to go watch Midnight's Edge. Stone Pie Media. Mr. Tickle Trunk. Monkey Jibber Come Again. Pat S. and Bush McFadden. I want to thank you guys for dropping in, man. It was a good show today. I went over because I'm so thoroughly just you and me telling stories back and forth. It's been fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody else enjoyed it, but I sure had a good time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely did. This is great. I don't do this enough on my channel, even though, I mean, mine is a veteran channel too, but we end up talking, like I said, on Thursdays, always political shit. And then on Saturdays, always pop culture stuff. And only every once in a while we'll chime in with like stories from here and there. But I got to do this more often with some of my guys, just sitting like you and just kind of tell some war stories.
Well, we can get some of the other guys from the group to join us.
Yeah,
I get nervous with those guys because I don't know them very well, but I've gotten to know you. And we can talk, and I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll give you some background, make sure if somebody's gonna be cool or not. Because like I know Brahma Bull, I know. I just forgot his name. Cartoonist, illustrator guy.
Rastercaster.
Rastercaster. I know him.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. I'm funny like that. I need to get to know people before I want to hang out with them.
Sure.
And
I get that.
I want to make sure we're not going to have conflict. Because like because I'm not saying people aren't nice people. I'm just saying that I've had suggestions to have people on the show going, hey, you need to have this guy because he's a military vet. And I had him on and I'm like, there's zero chemistry between him and me.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. And you've got to have some chemistry.
Sure.
And you and I immediately, the minute we started talking, I'm like, yeah, we're going to work. We're going to work. We're chatty with each other. We chuckle at each other's jokes. I like that, you know. And another thing that's important is that you and I both recognize that the greatest piss and moaners in the world, seriously, are over-the-road truckers and fucking veterans. Actually, active duty Army and Marines, notorious pisser and moaners.
Yep.
I've never heard more cackling like old women than from military and military vets.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Jesus Christ, grow a dick. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, so often, what else do you have to do other than hang around, like you said, like around the smoke pits and just bitching, whining, telling fucking stories and gossip and all kinds of other shit? Yeah.
Yeah, the motherfucker down there wouldn't fucking give me my supplies, told me I had to come back on his schedule.
It's so true.
Yeah. What is this? I'm trying to see which ones we got here because I have a lot of different ones. I don't see Kyle being here, but I just want to play this video for my buddy Kyle. If he sees this video, Kyle, this is for you.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Kyle.
That's our buddy Zax, ZAXX. I would be surprised if you don't know him because he's great, man. I love that guy. But anyway, we're going to get the hell out of here. Martin, you've been very quiet this show. Thanks for being here, man, and watching over the chat. John, you perked up a lot, my friend. You perked up a lot. Jesus Christ, that light makes you look like an albino right now with black hair.
He's just glowing, man.
You're just so pale, you are glowing.
Must be pregnant.
He must be pregnant. Thanks for being here, John. I appreciate it, man. But with that, guys, we're going to get out of here in this show in a proper way and play us out now. Boom.
Those sons of bitches.
Ma, I'm doing a show.